Bespoke radio for the masses.
Headline edition, July 8, 1947. The Army Air Forces has announced that a flying disc has been found and is now in the possession of the Army.
If the game is rigged, change the game. Game changer.
I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
This is Fade to Black with your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
I need your help to get to the year 1985.
You're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Well, good evening. How you doing? Fade to Black. Bespoke radio for the masses. Yeah, man. How you doing? All right. Today's Tuesday, April 2nd, 2019. 92 days into the new year, just 273 days left. We are live from a bunker somewhere in the middle of beautiful downtown Burbank, California. And I would like to welcome everybody listening all around the world, all across the United States. Hither and thither, to and fro, back and forth, up and down, east and west, north and south, far and near. This is Fade to Black for KJCR, the Game Changer Network, and KGRA, the planet. I am your host, Jimmy Church. What is cracking, everybody? How you doing? All right. Tonight, you already know what's happening. Tonight is part 2 of our Billy Carson weekly series that we are doing on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And this week, tonight, it is the Halls of Amenti. Get ready for that. Tomorrow night, it's Dr. Heather Lynn. Heather Lynn is back, and she's got a new book out. It's called Evil Archaeology. And that will be tomorrow night on the show. Thursday night's another Fader night with open lines all night long, taking your phone calls and engaging in conversation. And that will be Thursday night. Tonight, we're going to be giving away some signed copies of the Emerald Tablets. And I just opened up this copy here. And you can see they're all signed right there by Billy. And there you go. Look at the new cover. Isn't that just it's bright and it's 3D. It's incredible. So there it is. All of the illustrations. Great book. And more on that in just a bit. Okay? So we're going to be giving these away, and we'll be taking your phone calls. And I want to do that in the the start of the third hour. Okay, so we'll do it then, and I'll open up the phone lines. Okay, and we'll take it all the way out. Billy is here. He is back. He's been traveling, and we will find out just where he was, but he's been over in Europe and Greece, and he just got back today, and he's, excuse me, he's ready to go. I see, it's Taco Tuesday. That's what's going on. I've got dancing tacos all over my screen, and now I know why. It is Taco Tuesday. And I'll let you guys know. I already tacoed out earlier today, but maybe we'll do tacos tonight, man, because I've got a taco truck that is just screaming. So anyway, so Billy got back this afternoon, and he's good to go. But just flew back from Europe, and so that's why he wasn't with us last night, because he was traveling. And so we're all good. You can follow us on Twitter at JChurchRadio. Hashtag F2B is the sandbox. And if you want to see what everybody is posting and what actually goes on in the sandbox, it's an incredible thing to witness every single night. Go to hashtag F2B. Okay, now, also, if you have any questions or comments for myself or Billy tonight, use hashtag F2BQ. And I haven't mentioned this in a while, so I'll go ahead and get this out of the way. We use TweetDeck. So, for all of you out there on Twitter that just use Twitter for Twitter, okay, you need to get TweetDeck. It's one word, TweetDeck, TweetDeck. Get it downloaded because it runs Twitter automatically. So you can choose a couple of friends or people that you want to follow, and it's columns, right? And then at the top of each column, you can do whatever you want. For me, I've got myself on the first column. I've got hashtag F2B on the second column, hashtag F2BQ on the third column, and then I use 4 columns, and on the fourth column is Rita. So that's what I've got going in front of me, and they just and so I don't have to click on notifications. I don't have to do that. Everything loads automatically, and it's totally cool. So go and get TweetDeck. It'll change your Twitterverse, man. It will flip you out how cool it is, because that's what I use for Twitter. I don't even go to normal Twitter. No, I do on my phone. But as far as computers go, and you can get TweetDeck, of course, for your phone too as well. It's absolutely amazing. TweetDeck. Get it, and then get one of the columns will be hashtag F2BQ. That's the sandbox. And when you hear me talking all night long about this thing clicking by and people engaging in conversation, that's why. It's TweetDeck. Get TweetDeck. It's absolutely amazing. All right. And there you go. So we have 2 chat rooms, one over on Spreaker, and you can engage there, of course. And I've got that live in front of me. And I'm looking over. There is David and Catalina and Ron and others. It just flashes by too quick here. Who else is in the chat room right now? Queen Babylon is there. Is that Talupt? I don't even know what that says. Cheryl's there. Okay, so hello to everybody that is over in the chat room. And then, of course, there is KGRA, the planet, and their chat room over there. Okay, and everything is in real time, live during the show. Okay, all right. Where am I at? Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get to all of this crazy breaking news today. Eric Holder, the man police think fatally shot rapper Nipsey Russell this past Sunday here in Los Angeles, was arrested today. They got him on video. They knew what car he was driving and the license number and his name and witnesses and everything else. The manhunt was on. Didn't take too long. Today is only Tuesday. He was arrested earlier today here in Los Angeles. And then last night during our broadcast here of Fade to Black, about 300 people were gathered at a candlelight memorial in the Marathon Clothing parking lot right next to where Hustle was shot, when a person with a gun spurred everybody off. And it was crazy. It was live on television in every direction. It was chaotic. And it played out on live TV last night. And 19 people were hurt, trampled, and taken to the hospital. Nobody was shot. And apparently somebody was actually hit by a car, too, as well. All of that going on right now in Los Angeles. It's a pretty crazy situation here right now. Nipsey Hussle was killed on Sunday afternoon at about 3 o'clock here in Los Angeles. Also today it was announced that each of Netflix's subscription plans in the United States are going to be increased by either $1 or $2 over the next billing cycle starting in May. The basic plan, which used to cost $8, is going to be $9. The standard plan, which includes HD streaming on 2 devices, is going to go from $11 to $13 per month. And the premium plan will increase from $12 to $14. The question is, how many people are going to leave Netflix over this? I don't know. I'm sure that is going to happen because there are more and more streaming options It seems like every single day out there. And raising prices just may not be the right thing to do, but they did, and their stock rose today. Last year, Netflix made around $1.3 billion. They've been around since 1997, and they made the play. You know, the people still do get DVDs in the mail. That part is actually still running, believe it or not. But it's all based on the streaming platform. And Netflix was one of the first, and they are dominating. But raising prices, especially when you're profitable, you know, now they've got 600 productions that are in production right now, different movies and TV series, and they've got to fund all of that too as well. But I don't know. Let's see what happens. Also today, announced the Saudi Arabian government gave $1 million houses to slain Saudi American journalist Jamal Khashoggi, his children. Yeah, daughters Zoha and Razan and sons Salah and Abdullah all got multi-million-dollar homes given to them by the Saudi Arabian government in Saudi Arabia. And it was also announced that they will get about $70 million, and I guess that they're going to divide that up amongst the 4 children, as part of a negotiations deal that will begin once the journalist-accused killers go on trial over the next few months. The compensation was already approved by the Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman. Crazy. Big news today. Big news out of India, because here in the United States, NASA chief Jim Bridenstine said India's recent anti-satellite missile test has created dangerous space debris. India's test in late March of an anti-satellite weapon created 400 floating items, 60 of which are large enough for NASA to track, and 24 are flying above the highest points of the International Space Station's orbit. India said that all of the space debris was going to be below the orbit, and it was going to burn up in the Earth's atmosphere. As it turns out, that is not the case. India conducted its anti-satellite weapons test on March 28th, shooting down its own low-orbit satellite with a ground-launched missile. Yeah, absolutely crazy. When you think about all of the space debris that is up there, stuff traveling, some of it at 17,000 miles per hour, it doesn't take anything to damage the International Space Station, the solar panels, or penetrate the skin. It's absolutely nuts what is going on up there in space. And I don't know why we don't have, like, satellite street cleaners. If I'm Elon Musk, if I'm some private individual, that's what I do right there. I build a street cleaning satellite. Yeah, something to just go up there and suck it all up. It seems like the right thing to do. There is so much space debris up there right now. It's incredible. Not only space debris, but we have defunct satellites, too, as well. And also, India just launched, this is very interesting, India just launched this defense satellite, and it is in this weird polar orbit, which means it's going from south to north. It's in a polar orbit. And they said something very strange, because it's very hard to get something in a polar orbit. That is high technology, but they seem to have done that. But it's in some kind of semi-stationary polar orbit. And this is something that reads radar signals on the ground. And, of course, the threat is, to Pakistan and China as well. And there's something else on this satellite that snuck by most of the press out there. And they said there's some kind of offensive anti-satellite capability on this thing. Yep. Can you say Space Force? India's not playing around. Don't forget, you can get the Super Surfer music streaming app. You need to get this. I've got it on my phone, and I've got it right here. There it is, the Surfer music app right there. It's absolutely amazing, and all you have to do is download it. It's totally private. You don't give up any of your information. All you do is click and download and start listening to music. Go to the banners over at jimmychurchradio.com. Click and just download. Android, Apple, both are right there. surfr.fm, surfer.fm. It's super easy, super cool. It's Surfer. All right. Our next event is coming up. It is next month. Yeah, next month, May 31st through June 3rd in Indian Wells, Palm Springs, California. It is Contact in the Desert at the Renaissance Indian Wells Resort and Spa. Tickets and info are over at contactinthedesert.com. Of course, we're going to have our booth there, and we've got 3 nights of Fade to Black events. We've got Fade to Black broadcasting live, studio audience on Friday night. Saturday night, I'm hosting the awards banquet and dinner, and Sunday night, I'll be hosting the closing night panel and closing ceremony. So, you want to get your tickets now over at contactinthedesert.com. And then coming up, we posted this up earlier today on all of the social media. It's our 2019 Soltech 2.0 conference. It's over the July 4th weekend at the Sunrise Ranch in beautiful Loveland, Colorado, up in the mountains. You can sign up for tickets and info right now at soultechgathering.com. Accommodations, food, full conference schedule, speakers, bios, everything is right there at Soul Tech Gathering, and it's going to be another great event. Of course, we're going to shoot another documentary, and it's going to be great to hang out with everybody there. Night watches, we've got music, we've got events, we've got stuff for the kids, full family. It is going to be absolutely amazing. So go and do it now at soultechgathering.com, and of course, the banners are over at jimmychurchradio.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our podcast. It is just $2 per month. Click on the podcast banners over at jimmychurchradio.com, and you can also become a Fade or Not over in our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com. Let's get this show cracking. Happy birthday to Michael Fassbender. Today is 41. Inglourious Bastards, Prometheus, Magento in The X-Men. Michael Fassbender, amazing. Today is 41 years old. Also, today, Christopher Maloney. You remember him from Oz. You might even say, I forget the other shows that he's on, Law and Order and stuff, which I don't watch or don't care about. He was amazing in Oz. Christopher Maloney today is 58 years old. Our dead guy's birthday, Marvin Gaye, 1939 to 1984. Died at the age of 44. One of the greatest voices in history with songs like I Heard It Through the Grapevine, Let's Get It On, and What's Going On. On April 1st, 1984, April Fool's Day, Gaye's father, Marvin Gaye Sr., fatally shot him at their house in West Adams District of Los Angeles, and later had the charges dropped from, it was like murder, second degree, first degree, whatever. Had it dropped to manslaughter. Found out that he had a brain tumor and, some issues there, and ended up getting a suspended sentence. He ended up dying in 1998. On this day in history, 1982, Argentina invades the Falkland Islands. Yeah, you remember when that went down. On April 25th, right after that, it was amazing because they started sending the helicopter carriers and all the boats, the Navy, the British Navy, with the Marines and everything on it down. And on April 25th, they retook South Georgia Island and then landed on East Falkland on May 21st. After several weeks of fighting, the large Argentine garrison at Stanley surrendered on June 14th, ending the conflict. Fate or fact? Now, okay, we all love Tesla, Nikola Tesla, right? Well, here's a fate or fact for you. Are you ready? Japanese researchers have succeeded in transmitting energy using microwaves. No wires. And they delivered 1.8 kilowatts of power through the air with pinpoint accuracy to a receiver 55 meters away. And that is your Fader fact, of course, inspired by Tesla. And what the Japanese want to do, and this is the goal here, is they want to get satellites with solar collectors on them and beam energy back to Earth. And they're close to getting it done. Think about that. Nikola Tesla. I've got a sneeze coming on. Here it comes. Cough button. Why do you feel so good after a sneeze? Why is that? Now I feel great. Tonight, Billy Carson is here. Just got back from Europe. It's week 2 of our 4-part series on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Tonight, it is the halls of Amenti. Tomorrow night, Dr. Heather Lynn and her new book, which is Evil Archaeology. And I've got it right here. There it is, Evil Archaeology. And that is tomorrow night. Tonight, it's about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. All right, now, I pointed out earlier the autographs that Billy gave us, and these will be given away over the next 3 weeks. We gave a few away last week, too, as well. And there it is. Okay, but I had the honor of writing the foreword to the book. And here it is, right there. There's the foreword. And I am, in interest of the show tonight and over the next 3 weeks, I'm going to read you the foreword to the Emerald Tablets. Okay? And here it goes, quote, "All of us, no matter our background or who we are, reach a certain point in our lives when we start to see things around us a little different. When this happens, we naturally look for answers. This not only includes those from the awakened or new age communities, but people from all walks of life who may never have considered our past, our future, or why we are here, and what makes us the individuals living on this big, beautiful blue planet. As you travel through the information from documentaries, books, lectures, and the vast amount of websites on the subject of your focus, whatever it may be, you will eventually find yourself stumbling upon the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. The moment that this happens, you will ask the same questions about the tablets as so many before you. You're going to ask, are these real? Where are they? And how come I've never heard about them before? Who is Thoth? And so on. And with that, your journey, that quest for knowledge, will continue. One of the big issues today that we have with the Emerald Tablets of Thoth is the information, or the lack of it, that is available for us to explore. There have been references and translations of it that go way back many centuries, and it has been the centerpiece and foundation of alchemists and occult societies for its secrets to the creation of the Philosopher's Stone, the true alchemical magnum opus. So, if this is true, then why are there not volumes written about the Emerald Tablets of Thoth? Roger Bacon, Albertus Magnus, Michael Meyer, Aleister Crowley, Isaac Newton all wrote about the tablets and did their own translations. All excellent work for that time, but today seems outdated by modern standards. Over the last few hundred years, academics who were unfamiliar with Hermeticism looked mainly at the direct words and didn't attempt to view and interpret the many layers and hidden meanings of the text. The pure scientific mindset instead tried to figure out the chemistry and perform the laboratory experimentation to confirm the secret of the prima materia and its transmutation. There is a lot of information scattered around about who Thoth really was, what Hermeticism is, alchemy, and philosophy. But to find the real stuff is all but impossible, and its true history and meaning even harder. Putting it all together in one volume with a modern voice for our complex world has not existed until now. Today, Billy Carson brings to our community the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Finally, we are able to dive deeper into the meaning of what Thoth really intended for us to know, to explore and discover what is truly important about ourselves and the world around us. There are three basic questions that we need answers for. 1, where do we come from? 2, why are we here? And 3, where are we going? For the enlightened, these questions are basic, but still unanswered. And for those just beginning their quest, they are the biggest questions of all. This Compendium of the Emerald Tablets will help both groups find the answers they seek. And finally, we all have a modern, fresh take on one of the greatest mysteries of our time, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Now, I wrote that back in September 2018 after reading the Emerald Tablets. And I have gone through, over the years, as much material as I could on the Emerald Tablets. And everything that I wrote here is exactly me, in that I tried to find the information. I read all of the translations. I was trying to get the hidden meanings that were here. As a matter of fact, I also tried to read through it and figure out for myself what these formulas were and what Isaac Newton was on about, and Aleister Crowley and Magnus, and Bacon, what they were interpreting to get these recipes, right, for the Philosopher's Stone. And I spent a lot of time on it. And it wasn't until Billy's release of this book that my eyes started to open and I started to get it. That's why we chose to do a 4-part series, not only on the Emerald Tablets, but why this book is important. And I highly recommend it to everybody. Tonight, our guest is Billy Carson. It is week 2. We will, of a 4-part series, he'll be back next Monday and the Monday after that. And not only are we going to be giving away copies of the book, but we are breaking it down. Tonight, it's the Halls of Amenti. And if you don't know what the Halls of Amenti are, or if you think you do, tonight is the show for you. I'll be right back with our guest, Billy Carson. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, on the Game Changer Network and KGRA, The Planet. Email is jimmy@jimmychurchradio.com. And you can go and follow me right now on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Billy at 4, that's the number 4, Forbidden Knowledge on Twitter. I'll be right back. Stay with us.
This is Nicole Church, daughter of you-know-who, and you're listening to Fade to Black on JimmyChurchRadio.com and the Game Changer Network.
You're listening to Jimmy Church, Fade to Black.
Fade to Black will now pause for alien identification.
The station that talks the net. KGRA Radio. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can get our podcast for just $2 per month. All you have to do is click on the podcast banner over at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey folks, guess what the number one phrase that Life Change Tea receives by email? You ready? We love this tea. We love this tea. Time after time, week after week, we love this tea. Life Change Tea gives you more energy, a beautiful cleansing, and fulfills its slogan perfectly. The tea that makes you go. So if you want to be on your health game, log on to getthetea.com and order Life Change Super Strength Tea. Packages come in a 1-month supply, and when you brew this stuff, wait until you see the results. Aren't we all about the results? And with a lot of people's health struggling, we can use a little bit of help. Doctors will tell you disease starts in the gut. So log on to getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. Be our next email saying, I love this tea. I love this tea. Get the tea at getthetea.com. Helping America one tea bag at a time.
9 out of 10 geneticists agree.
Fade to Black is not your father's radio show on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, The Planet.
Do you want to lose weight but have no idea where to begin? The Fast Start Diet, a 3-day weight loss plan, is the answer. 3 days of nutritionally balanced, calorie-restricted meals delivered right to your door. No shopping, no measuring, and no cooking. Everything is prepared for you and ready to eat at home or on the go. The Fast Start Diet has all the amazing benefits of intermittent fasting without starving. We've helped thousands of people who have struggled to reach their weight loss goals. Isn't it time we helped you? With the Fast Start Diet, you'll lose weight and feel great.
Find Fast Start Diet on Amazon or go to faststartdiet.com and use promo code TALK to get 10% off your first box. And as a special bonus, Fast Start will include their #1 rated Lipo-3 appetite suppressant spray free with your order. This is Jimmy Church. And whatever your diet plans are, do what I did. Go to faststartdiet.com.
Hi, this is Rob Reiner from Anvil, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
What's up? I'm Chris. What up? This is Compendium, and you're listening to Jimmy Church Radio.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight, Billy Carson is here. It's week 2 of our 4-part series on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. I'm holding up the new book right there, the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Beautiful cover. There she is. Tomorrow night, it is Dr. Heather Lynn, Evil Archaeology. I feel like a book club. The best of the books. I love my job. Tonight, it's Billy Carson. It is part 2 of our 4-part series. And tonight, we're going to cover what are the halls of Amenti. Over the next 2 weeks following tonight's broadcast, we will do part 3 next Monday night. Time is an illusion. And part 4, the Emerald Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe. Billy is the founder of Forbidden Knowledge, the author of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, and an expert host on Deep Space, a new original streaming series over on Gaia. Carson's Forbidden Knowledge has over 2 million followers and subscribers throughout social media. And he has combined forces with top anomaly hunters in the world to form the United Family of Anomaly Hunters. It's called UFAH. Their mission is to provide evidence of past and present life here on Earth and other celestial bodies inside of our solar system, and of technologies being used along with their potential origins. The group claims to have pioneered 2 new fields of science, Archeo-astronomy and Astro-anthropology. He is the CEO of First Class Space Agency based in Fort Lauderdale, Florida, and his space agency is working with zero-point energy devices. He's also the founder of Pantheon Elite Records, a contributor to Thrive Global, and is a registered international journalist. I'd like to welcome back to Fade to Black, Mr. Billy Carson. Billy, how are you, man?
I am fantastic, man. Just recovering from a big trip.
Yeah, you know, let's actually welcome back to Fade to Black and to the country. You are always out there doing stuff, and it was just so funny when you were posting pictures of you on the hills over in Greece. I'm like, he ain't going to be here for the show on Monday. There just ain't no way. So what were you doing over there?
Man, it was a little both business and pleasure. One part was my fiance's birthday. It was a birthday gift. You know, she took me to Peru for my birthday a few months back. And so I asked for what she wanted. She said she wanted to go to Santorini. So I took her to Santorini for her birthday. And the business part came in discovering that there was an ancient Atlantean archaeological dig there in Akrotiri.
Yep.
So, man, we went out there and we went to the archaeological dig site, and it was absolutely amazing. I'm still writing the article on it now.
Let's actually talk about that for a second. There's been a lot of research into Santorini and its connection with Atlantis. Some archaeologists are taking that part of the story very, very serious. Okay, before I ask you what you saw, I'm going to go there next. Your pictures are vibrant. The colors and everything around you. Is it really that panchromatic?
It is, man. And the pictures, believe it or not, as great as they are, doesn't compare to what you see with your own eyes. It still is another level even above the photos. It's absolutely astounding. And crisp and just unbelievable there. It's like you're looking in 4D. It's incredible.
Yeah,
incredible place.
That's exactly what it looks like. And we're talking about going to Greece. I can't believe I'm mentioning this on the air, but we were invited with our family to go over there later on this year, and you know, it just got to go. We're going to go to Athens and. I want to do it all. I want to try to get to Delphi. You know, I think that would be really cool. And the Pantheon, you know, everything there in Athens. I want to try to go and visit and maybe hit an island or two as well. So you get down. Okay, so the dig is going on. Is it still an active site?
It's still an active site. It's only about 25 to 30%. Excavated right now, and it's a massive site. It's on 20 hectares of land, and right away I started seeing anomalies. I started photographing anomalies, pipes that were partially uncovered. perfectly circular pipes. There was a working toilet there in one of the buildings. Ancient 6,000-year-old working toilets that had plumbing and everything else, water ducts. Objects that appeared to be metallic in nature and have perfectly drilled circles and holes in them. Things that you wouldn't say, and they were calling this a prehistoric society, but everything about it was showing me advanced technology.
Now, okay, when you look at Santorini, this is why I understand it is such a appealing site, for the possibility of Atlantis, is its shape and what happened there. It's just, and it's right in the center too. Where's the dig site?
The dig site is in Akrotiri, which is right off of the Greek mainland, and it's still on the island of Santorini, but you can literally see this gigantic, massive circle around what's marking the circle are the islands that are above ground.
Right.
And in the center of that circle is a caldera, is where there was a massive eruption in the ancient past, and that entire section completely collapsed and went underneath the water. It sounds kind of familiar.
Right. And what did you see at the site?
Oh man, megalithic stone. The same stuff you start to see at a lot of these megalithic sites. Stones that are fit together so tightly with no mortar that you still can't, even today, after being through a massive earthquake and covered by ash and everything else, you still can't put a human hair in between some of the stonework that stayed together, that didn't collapse. Stones that weigh 2 and 3 tons, advanced technological designs, plumbing, piping, artifacts that looked like they were drilled or worked with some type of machine, and street grids. I mean, a modern city. I mean, it was absolutely astounding to see this. I mean, a total modern city laying there in ruins and partially uncovered. And I think people are going to be really shocked because I haven't posted any of the photos of this dig site yet. And I have a lot of photos and videos to post about it. So they're going to be really astounded when they see this article come out.
Yeah, I'm looking at the dig site here. It's pretty nuts. I didn't think it was that big. But yeah, it's, let's see, if that's 200 feet. Yeah, that's got to be, it's got to be a few thousand by a few thousand feet. You said 20 hectares?
Yes, that's what they're calling it, on the dig material that they gave us. Wow. And it's so deep because there's some photos that I'll show that go down. I mean, we're obviously where we're at looking at the dig site. To me, we're at the very top of it.
Right.
It seems to go down many, many layers, at least 40, 50 meters, in some areas 70 meters deep. There's still structures down there.
6,000 years right now is the dating they've got on it?
Yeah. So it's
4,000 BC. Wow. Absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. So what else did you do in Greece? How do you get to Santorini? You fly into Athens and then take a boat, a ferry?
Actually, no. Believe it or not, I flew out of Miami straight to Zurich, and then from Zurich into Athens, and then from Athens on another small plane, a little island hopper, to Santorini. There's an actual small, tiny little airport in Santorini.
Kratikos International. I'm looking at it right
here. Yeah, it was tiny. I mean, it barely had an interior. It was almost like an outdoor airport type setup. It was really, really small.
There's not a building in sight at this airport. Yeah. No, that's pretty nuts. All right. Well, welcome back, and let's start to kick things off here. And just to give it a little bit of background for everybody. Let's start with just a basic overview on what are the Emerald Tablets of Thoth.
Okay. Well, the Emerald Tablets of Thoth are basically an ancient writing, Hermetic writing, and ancient wisdom writing that was done about 36,000 years ago by Thoth himself. He was the actual Atlantean priest king that ruled over Egypt in the ancient past when it was called the land of Cam. He ruled over Egypt for about 14,000 years. And he, towards the end of his reign, he wrote these tablets of work, which are now the fundamental basis of almost every single religion in existence today, including Christianity. A lot of the words that are spoken by a lot of the prophets in these newer books, when I say newer, I'm talking about written in the first century and so forth, all are referenced, can be referenced directly back to these ancient texts. And they have been passed through the hand of Sir Isaac Newton, who has one of the most famous translations, which are still available today to see at the Cambridge Library. So anybody wants to go to Europe and go to the Cambridge Library, they can see them there. And famous authors like Roger Bacon and Michael Doreal and just many, many famous people have had their hands on the Emerald Tablets and deciphered them over hundreds of years. And they've kind of faded into ambiguity, if you want to call it that, as religions really took prominence. But if you really dig into the research, you discover that these tablets are the fundamental basis of everything from teaching quantum mechanics, metaphysics, quantum physics, unity, love, seeking the light, and even different types of advanced technologies and how we can utilize them to advance mankind on a technological level. And it kind of tries to combine spirituality with physics, kind of making a unified physics if you really understand what's being taught here. and giving the reader the ability to conquer space-time itself.
Last night, I was listening to a presentation, an interview by Michael Tessarian, who I love. He's absolutely amazing. And wouldn't you know that in the middle of this conversation, he brings up the Emerald Tablets of Hermes, right?
Wow.
It's the same, right? And he didn't mention that Thoth is Hermes, and it was the Greek renaming of what was going on. But I thought, how amazing is it that we were going to not only discuss it today, but how important it is, the Emerald Tablets, and to have him bring it up and brought up a couple of points in it. And then, and that came on the heels of, there's a new series out. It came out last year. It's in season 2. It's called American Gods. And I believe it is on Stars. And it's incredible. Everybody should go and watch it. It discusses everything that we talk about on the show. But one of the characters in American Gods is Thoth. And his name is Ibis. Yep. And check this out. And it stars Orlando. What's the actor's name? Well, anyway, Thoth is black.
Okay. Wow.
Yep. And he brings up the history of the Nile. Now, I don't want to give anything else away. But, check out American Gods and the new character that has just been introduced, Ibis, who is Thoth. And again, like Hermes and everything else, when you're reading, this is for the audience, when you're reading stuff, you need to understand how it attaches itself and how it is connected in context. Like with Hermes and Thoth and characters like named Ibis, you just raise an eyebrow. It was Rita last night. She goes, he's Thoth, right? Well, of course he is, right? So that's the Emerald Tablets. Now, the Halls of Amenti, which we're going to talk about tonight, we need to first get to a definition of what the Halls of Amenti are and get a historical context. So let's go with the definition first. What are the Halls of Amenti?
Well, the Halls of Amenti are literally, in a literal sense, a hall that is discovered underneath the Great Pyramid or the Giza Plateau, where there are literally thousands of rooms now that are discovered deep beneath that Giza Plateau. And in these halls, there were at the time, regeneration chambers. And these regeneration chambers were these chambers that these quote unquote gods or these advanced beings would utilize for the purpose of putting physical bodies in them to regenerate them while they walked amongst men by transferring their consciousness into other bodies. And they would exchange bodies over time. And Thoth himself had claimed to have done this 100 times, and he had left a body in there each time for 100 years. So just in that mathematical computation, we're talking about 100,000 years that he had spent in regeneration chambers, transferring his consciousness from body to body. That's the physical aspect of it.
Now, there have been many expeditions out for the Halls of Amenti over the years. There's been a lot of rumors of late about their discovering that they exist, and they've been using ground-penetrating radar, and that the possibility of... So there's that part of it. I want to discuss that. And then I've talked to many different guests and others that have done out-of-body and astral projection and regression back to that period where they were walking these halls, but they never said Amenti. But they were there and they were witnessing these massively long halls with these multiple rooms that they're walking down and through and looking into each room and seeing different things there. And they probably don't have any idea that it's the Halls of Amenti, but it seems like there's been a lot of conversation about this area and what it represents. Is that part of confirmation about the hall's location and the time that they were there?
Oh, absolutely. There's no doubt about it. That's a great confirmation. And based off of just physical results and physical research, they're actually there. They're real. In 2008, some researchers went on an expedition and discovered these halls and published their information in the scientific journal of the NRIAG. And basically what happened was the information shortly after got suppressed by the Secretary General of the Supreme Council of Antiquities of Egypt. No surprise there that would happen. They don't want people knowing that these ancient records are revealing, this kind of material. But the information was published, and once information is published, you can't just delete it. It's in there. The scientific study, the research, the expedition was published, and it was found to be completely accurate. And there are these halls that are underneath this Giza plateau, just as Thoth talks about in the Emerald Tablets. And, the amazing thing is that, when we hear about astral projection, as you just said, he literally, in my mind, in a way, he sends his consciousness out of the physical body, or his being is out of the physical body, and then reinserts it into another avatar body, which then he claims to walk amongst men in. And he's not the only one that does this. Not all, but some of the other gods have the same capability of transferring their consciousness, which we are just now starting to do. So when we talk about things like taking your consciousness out of a body and putting in another one, it sounds crazy. It sounds like science fiction. Well, in true reality, it's not science fiction. It's science reality. It's things that we're already doing. I talk about this in the book extensively with DARPA, with the United States military in the black budget projects, openly announcing the Avatar project, where they have now synced field agents with robots in the field, or soldiers with robots in the field, where their consciousness can be transferred into the field robot, that way bypassing any type of risk to bodily harm. And it's like a symbiotic relationship, kind of like in the movie Avatar. And then you have the 2045 project coming out of Russia, where they actually have done the first part, where they transferred a monkey's consciousness into a computer, and the monkey thinks it's still alive. It's in there eating bananas and climbing trees and everything else, but the physical body of the monkey has been long deceased. And then their next goal was by 2015, but they did it earlier than that. And then their next goal was to be able to transfer consciousness into a robot, which they've probably done by now. And then by 2045 to have a physical avatar that they could transfer consciousness into, from a human being straight to another clone, probably a clone, maybe even from your own stem cells of yourself. So we're talking about advanced technology in current times that mimics information that was spoken about by Thoth 36,000 years ago. And I tend to believe that everything we're finding out now about this biology and the ability to transfer consciousness is just a rediscovery, and probably was taken or thought about initially, or got the inkling to do it from reading these ancient tablets.
Now, we're going to continue that part of it after the break. I want to get back to the point that you made earlier about the discovery in 2008. There were also a cave system that was discovered that went underneath the Great Pyramid, that started off in a bird tomb on the on the northwest side of the Great Pyramid, and that was found by Andrew Collins. Is that okay? Because that's a cave system. That's a broken down, a cave. The halls of Amenti are constructed, right? I mean, these are rooms, stones, carved.
Yeah. Correct. They're constructed rooms that have access points, possibly maybe even from the surface. If somebody knows the, pyramid priests may have had access to them via some cave structures, some ancient cave system, or maybe some parts of a dried up aquifer maybe led down to them. We don't know that, particularly. I mean, that's just a speculation. However, Thoth claims to have come back to them, in the ancient past, and he comes back to the halls of Amenti directly, and then from there he gets up to the surface. By what means, we particularly don't have any inkling of how he did that, but it's really amazing. It's possible that the halls of Amenti were also part of a portal system where maybe he would come and go through a portal that was generated by this massive underground area. And then he would utilize that area for these regeneration chambers. And then somehow he would get himself to the surface. So a lot of the stuff that he talks about in the tablets, he's buried underneath the Sphinx, the pyramid, and the Giza Plateau. So there must be a way to get them out.
Yeah, the way that it is laid out in this in the new edition of the Compendium, it is so well done and structured. And I do want to point out that Laura Cantu and her editing on the book took this thing to a whole nother level. And how important was Laura to what I am holding here?
Oh, man, listen, Laura was a godsend, absolute godsend. I mean, I met her at the SETI ranch with you last year when we went out to do the conference. And she came to me with version 1 of the book and said, Billy, this book is great, but I think I can help you make it better. And Laura, I said to Laura, I said, look, I'm a humble man. If you think that there can be improved on after I looked at some of her work, I said, I put it in your hands. And she went to work on it immediately. And what she helped me come up with is absolutely astounding. I'm so happy that I was able to meet her. Another benefit of you, really, Jimmy. I really appreciate the fact that you've been inviting me to SETI Ranch to the conference, and it turned out to be that was the Soul Tech conference in 2018, and it turned out to be an amazing benefit all around.
Yeah, it's part of being friends and family, right? So cool. Now, really quick before we get to the break, tell us about this cover. This cover is incredible.
Oh my goodness, the cover, Laura said to me as well, was the cover that I had in the previous, book was nice, but that she thought she might be able to outdo it a little bit and make it a little bit more eye-catching for the purpose of obviously, making sales and capturing people's eye, going up against competition, because there's a lot of books starting to come out about this topic. And I said, well, Laura, have at it. And what she came up with just blew me away. That was the first version of what I said. Don't do anything else to this. This is perfect. Just go ahead and create this. This is exactly what I was looking for. And so the cover, if you ever see the cover, Compendium of the Emerald Tablet cover for the volume 2, it's a sick cover. It's amazing.
And who's the artist?
The artist is Laura and another gentleman. I can't remember his name at this moment, but the two of them together came up with this cover.
It's Jose Suarez.
Yes, Jose Suarez. That was his name.
He is incredible. Just
incredible. Yeah.
I mean, I'm holding it. I'm looking at it, and it's just the colors and the content of what this cover is. I'm holding it up to the cameras, and it just doesn't do it justice. It's incredible. It's emerald, is what it is. It's emerald.
Yeah, it's emerald. Literally, it's emerald, and it's exactly. I mean, it gives you the feel of what you're getting ready to get into, something very mysterious, and sacred when you look at it.
Yeah, absolutely incredible. Tonight, our guest is Billy Carson. It is week 2 of our 4-part series on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Tonight, it's the halls of Amenti. When we come back, we'll continue our conversation. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio. You can follow Billy at 4, that's the number 4, Forbidden Knowledge. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station, Salt Lake City, Utah, Van Buren, Arkansas. Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, fade or not, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams,
free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Go Beckley Tappy.
Folks, this is very important information. What's to be said about CBD? AncientLifeOil.com. Our CBD is made from hemp and has 0.003 THC, which means this wonderful product won't get you high, no matter what amount you take. What does CBD do for the body? My hands are tied. But you can Google CBD benefits and be astounded. When you're finished reading, you'll want to log on to AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com and purchase. Life is good when you feel good. People are tired of pain. People are asking for non-GMO organic products to help them with, you fill in the blank. Legal in 49 states, and again, our CBD is made from hemp. Ancient Life Oil is about helping people one by one by one. If you wonder how good the product is, the CEO takes it every day without miss. AncientLifeOil.com. That's AncientLifeOil.com. Have a great day.
Hello, I'm Katie, and you're listening to my main man, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Hi, this is Ray Hobbs here, repping the planet, and you're listening to my good friend, Jimmy Church, Fade to Black, on the Game Changer Network and the KGRA digital broadcast station.
This is Toby Kebbell. You're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com. Don't hurt me, Jimmy. I'm only little.
Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And this is Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. Yes. We're of the Honey Brothers. Hey, I'm Adrian Grenier. And I'm Ari Gold. We're the Honey Brothers. And you're listening to Jimmy Church. The Revolution.
Reclaim your active lifestyle with Angioprim. Angioprim is the original liquid oral chelation supplement. Chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in your veins and arteries that can cause blockages. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. Find out more. Go to angioprim.com. Talk to a trained consultant by calling Angioprim toll-free 877-882-7221.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and you can become an official Fadernaut by just going to our membership section at jimmychurchradio.com.
Hey, it's Grace. Can we talk about something serious for a minute? Your age. Getting old has its perks. But remember, being a few years younger, you know, your hair was thicker, you didn't have so many wrinkles, that extra weight wasn't haunting you, and you just felt better. Well, we can't turn back the clocks and go back 10 or 15 years, but you can start feeling and looking 10 or 15 years younger with Nature's Youth RSF. It's a doctor-formulated daily supplement that helps your body maintain its peak performance and fight the aging process. Imagine sleeping better, looking better, and feeling better. See how Nature's Youth RSF has helped thousands of people just like you at nature'syouth.com. nature'syouth.com. Imagine how it will feel when your family and friends are asking you what you did to look so good. Your secret will be Nature's Youth RSF. It's time to start looking better and feeling better. Learn more and order your Nature's Youth RSF at nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com. That's nature'syouth.com.
Hello, this is Serena Wright Taylor from Conscious Life Expo, and you're listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church, who holds the Lucky Pony record for the best astrological chart since 1963. True story.
This is Micah Hanks of the Gralien Report, and you're listening to Jimmy Church on Fade to Black, across the globe on the Game Changer Radio Network and the one and only KGRA Radio, The Planet.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is part 2 of our 4-part series with Billy Carson on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. We're going to broadcast this over 4 consecutive weeks. We have 2 weeks left after tonight. Tonight is the Halls of Amenti. Next week will be Time is an Illusion, and the week after that on Monday night, The Emerald Tablets and the Fractal Holographic Universe. Tonight, it's the Halls of Amenti. All right, continuing on where we left off, Billy, and I think one of the important designations for everybody to understand here is that the Halls of Amenti are underneath the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau, correct? Oh, Billy. Oh, no.
I'm here. Can you hear me?
Man, don't do that to me, Billy.
I'm sorry, Jimmy. I was talking. I thought I took the mute off when you were on the commercial. But yeah, underneath the Great Pyramid, there's a massive area called the Halls of Amenti, which extend out into the Giza Plateau area, and it's literally thousands of rooms.
And how many halls are there? Is it like a grid pattern?
It's actually there's a guy, if I can remember his name right now, that actually based on the description from Herodotus, who had actually claimed to visit these halls. It's amazing, this account that he gave on it. He claims that he had visited these halls and that he described them in such great detail that an artist actually did a rendering of them. And this guy's name was, let me just see if I have his name here, a Jesuit scholar called Athanicus Kircher. He created the first pictorial reproduction of the enigmatic labyrinth, just as Herodotus had described it. So this guy actually created this picture, and when you look at it, I should send it to you so you can have a copy of it. It's really looks like sacred geometry under the ground, the way that it's structured. And it's got this labyrinth in the middle, and it goes out into these other areas with all these rooms with these intricate locations and everything else.
And when was he there?
Herodotus?
No. The guy who just was there recently that allowed the artist rendering.
Oh, the most recent was in 2008.
2008. I got you.
Yes.
Okay. I just want to clarify that. And you said that it was suppressed by the head of antiquities. Was that Zahi Hawass? Was he?
Zahi Hawass. Yeah.
There you go. And he also, I was talking about the cave system that was discovered underneath the Giza Plateau that wasn't supposed to exist. And it was found by Andrew Collins. And he went down and videotaped. And then Zahi said, no, it doesn't exist. He said, well, look at my video. They denied that its existence. And then what did Zahi do a year later? Went down there with his own camera crew.
Yeah, exactly.
And did the whole thing. And that's a pretty intricate cave complex underneath. So, but when, what was his name again? I'm sorry.
You talking about Kircher, Mr. Kircher?
Yeah,
his first name is sounds like a Greek name actually. His first name is Athanicus, Athanasius.
Okay.
Athanasius Kircher.
Okay, Kircher's good enough for me. So Kircher. Yeah. So did Kircher describe if there was anything in these rooms?
He didn't describe anything being in the rooms, but he did draw what looked to be or appear to be statues or motif of different types of beings, and which some look like regular Egyptian statues, some look like half human, half animal, some look like animals, maybe from astrology, just various different drawings. Now these would have been massive, so they may have been etched into the stone in some way.
Jason Quitt on the show a couple of years ago told us about his experience at the Giza Plateau, an astral projection, out of body, time travel trip that he went on, and with Thoth guiding him through these halls and the structure that was underground. And it sounds very similar to what you are describing now. Have you had a chance to talk to Jason about that?
No, I haven't talked to him about it at all. That's amazing. I need to talk to him about that, actually. Now that you brought that up, that's pretty cool. That'd be a great piece to add to what I'm trying to write about this.
Yeah, and Jason's probably listening right now. Jason, if you're listening, text Rita, and we'll see if we can get you on the show later on tonight, and we can certainly bring him on with us next week. But it was very similar to what you are describing here.
Amazing.
So, okay, now we started to discuss, and that's where I want to go now, the purpose, the functionality of the halls of Amenti. So now let's start to go there. It was designed to do something. What was it?
The first thing it was designed to do was to house these regeneration chambers that would allow avatar bodies to transfer consciousness from one entity to another, and also then rejuvenate the body in some way or fashion, maybe on a genetic level, on a DNA, or on a cellular level. I'm not really sure. It doesn't particularly specify, but somehow it regenerates the body or the avatar body that's inside of one of these. Because in the Emerald Tablets, Thoth talks about gods descending down and taking on human bodies and then putting them in the chambers and then walking amongst men and other bodies and transferring their ego from man to man, not literally from people that already existed. I truly believe that they were talking about these cloned bodies that they were using to walk around. And it could explain why they have so many different names in so many different parts of the world. They literally could be different looking people. But the other purpose of it would be, it seemed to be a point of arrival, like an arrival destination and a departure destination as well, based on reading the tablets. It seems like Thoth and other gods would then leave this area and go somewhere. Where they went, who knows? Maybe to other parts of the universe, maybe to other even dimensions. But it also, from my previous research, it looks like the Great Pyramid was probably a multifunctional stone computer that was capable of generating power and also opening up portals. So if that's the case, this could be a location for one of the portal openings or the ability to generate a Stargate where they would walk through from one place to another.
The technology of being able to do this was something that Michio Kaku, I'm not trying to name drop here, but Michio a few years ago on the show said that he was convinced that DARPA had the ability to upload and download consciousness, right? Yes. And here we are talking about this technology today. It's obviously the focus of Sandia National Labs and DARPA. That's the ultimate goal, to get the brain interface going for immortality, if nothing else. But it seems that that's exactly what they were doing in the halls of Amenti so many thousands of years ago.
Absolutely. And I think another thing that I've looked at and written about many times on Forbidden Knowledge was the sarcophagus that the pharaohs would obviously be put in after death. A lot of the stories are about them going into the sarcophagus and going on the solar boat and to so forth and so on. I think that's a little bit inaccurate. Based off of what I've now studied and researched and been in person to see and touch with my own hands, I think that the sarcophaguses of these more recent pharaohs were their attempt to mimic the regeneration chamber that the ancient gods like Thoth and others would lay in to regenerate their bodies. And I think that that's why they would be put into these sarcophaguses with all their gold and jewelry and everything else, because I think that they believed that they were going to be either preserving their DNA to be reawakened or recloned and then have their consciousness transferred into another body. Maybe there was a promise from these ancient gods to come back and clone them and rejuvenate their bodies, is what I really believe. I don't believe that they were going into these sarcophaguses thinking they were getting on solar boats and all this other stuff. I really do think that they were mimicking what they already had, some technology that they already witnessed with Thoth and other ancient gods from the past.
Now, you mentioned Thoth was doing this for 100,000 years?
Yes, he claims to have gone into the halls of Amenti 100 times, 100 years or 100 times. So that's 100,000 years. And that's just the time in the rejuvenation chamber. That doesn't count the amount of time that he's walking amongst men, because it appeared that he did it 100 years every 1,000 years. So you got to multiply that. Now we're talking about big, big numbers. We're talking about a person that's living for super millennia. And we're talking about a super ancient entity that's been here for a very, very long time.
If that is indeed the case, this is just my mind working here with this conversation, then the halls of Amenti were there pre-existing the Great Pyramids and the Great Sphinx.
It's very possible that they were there first. That could be the first thing that was built or constructed underneath the Giza Plateau. And also another possibility is because these beings seem to travel from planet to planet and maybe even from galaxy to galaxy, they probably have halls of Amenti set up all over the place. You know, there's probably one on Mars. There's probably one on Tiamat that exploded and now is now the asteroid belt. There was probably one in Sirius before that star went dim. There's probably, you know, some in the Orion star cluster where they like to obviously point out a lot and show that there really is some type of connection with the Orion. And obviously the Pleiades. There's probably many, many planets inhabited in the Pleiades by humanoids. And there's probably many halls of Amenti there as well, or portal openings or stargates or whatever you want to call them. They're probably all over, abundantly around the entire galaxy.
So, and it seems that the Great Pyramid, especially with the King's Chamber and the way it is orientated, would have a connection to the halls of Amenti and would have not only a connection to it, but an energy source to connect to the sarcophagus that is inside of the King's Chamber. If we are, you know, if these are regeneration chambers, right, in the halls of Amenti, then possibly the King's Chamber would be related to the two, right? Am I thinking correctly?
Oh, no, you're right. You're totally right. I mean, of course, Zahi Hawass and mainstream archaeology like to say that the box, the stone box, which I've touched and you know, looked on the inside and everything else and measured in 2014, they like to say that stone box is a sarcophagus, which is, it's far from the truth. There is no sarcophagus inside the Great Pyramid. That box is the exact dimensions of the Ark of the Covenant. Matter of fact, the Ark of the Covenant would fit perfectly inside that stone box. So, and now we know the Ark of the Covenant was a power generation source. So, based on the descriptions of it and based on how you had to handle it and the type of materials you had to wear, rubber and steel, different types of gems on a leaded vest and everything else, it sounds like you're handling something that's probably even radioactive potentially when you look at the ancient scriptures. So this stone box was definitely probably a power source. And from my research, I kind of think that the Ark of the Covenant is what was inside of that stone box. And the reason why Moses, which was probably most likely Akhenaten, was pursued after leaving Egypt was not because the Pharaoh had a change of heart, as is written in some of the more recent biblical texts, but because he took the Ark of the Covenant with him. And then when you take that's the source of the power, or the key element in creating power for the country. So now you have to go get this guy. You have to go get this power source back, which is why they probably went after him, not because the Pharaoh had a change of heart. And I believe that power source was the key piece in generating electricity or some type of exotic energy that was probably used to create the free energy that was used and bounced from obelisk to obelisk, and also creating maybe portal technology and even a communications device, which allowed the Great Pyramid to connect with the Orion star cluster and maybe even transmit video and information or contact or sound back to maybe even a home planet.
Yeah, because when you look at in person, which I have, when you see a giant stone sarcophagus, the outer sarcophagus, where, you know, it's 6-8 feet wide, it's, 12, 14, 16 feet long, 6 feet tall, you look at this giant granite box, and then you see what is inside of the King's Chamber. That's two different situations. They are not the same. Right. You know what I mean? And you look at the Serapeum, or you look at other examples of what a sarcophagus is that's holding the right?
Yeah.
One inside of another. Yeah, like a set of Russian dolls. Well, the what is inside of the King's Chamber is not the other sarcophagus that are all over Egypt.
Yeah, not even close. I mean, when you go to the Valley of Kings, which I've been to, and gone down to some of those tombs and see the elaborate work and how these supermassive megaton sarcophaguses have been maneuvered into tunnels and areas that, I mean, you can't even make a right-hand turn with these things. How did they even get in there? But they got down there some kind of way. But they're not even close to being what you see inside the Great Pyramid. And of course, there's no hieroglyphs, there's no gold, there's no mummified cats and maids and everything else that they normally take with them, their riches and everything. And there's nothing down there or inside of there that says this is where this was a burial site for a king.
Yeah. Hey, Rita, post some of the pictures of me standing next to different sarcophagus, and so everybody can get an idea what I'm trying to say here and what Billy's talking about. Because what's inside of the king's chamber is not the same thing. So it just seems to me that we need to take that part of it, that it is it's a tomb. The Great Pyramid is a tomb, and take that off of the table because it's clearly not that. And I've talked to people that have Did you lay down in the sarcophagus in the box that's in the king's chamber? Did you get inside of it?
I wanted to, but there was some black mold there at the time. And I didn't want to risk laying on that. You're supposed to, according to Thoth, if you go in there and you lay in it, and it's got a resonance to it. So if you hit it with a mallet, it'll create a frequency and a vibration that will allow you to transcend your consciousness into another dimension and gain more wisdom and knowledge. So I really wanted to, but because of the condition of the interior of the box, I just couldn't get in there.
Well, you're taller than I am.
Yeah.
Do you think that you would have been able to fit inside of the sarcophagus and lay down? Is it that big?
My knees would have been bent. I mean, I'm 6'4". My knees would have definitely been bent up, and probably the tip of my knee would have been right over the top or close to the top of the stone box.
Yeah, and which takes me back to my point, Billy. Let's not play around here.
Yeah, I know.
Right? Are they suggesting that Khufu was 2.5 feet tall?
No, it's ridiculous. It's just anybody that goes there and sees this, I don't even know how it can sustain it to be in the historical record or even in a history book. Somebody should. I don't know who approves this stuff. It's obviously somebody who's on the side of this suppression theory, because the box is not even for. I mean, a kid. My kids couldn't fit in that box. It wouldn't be a good burial box for my kids. Some of them are grown up, but one of them is only 5'9". He's not, the right size for that box.
Now, back to the halls of Amenti. So now we're talking about thousands of rooms. I have seen a couple of floor plans of it. Mm-hmm. And looking at that, there's a couple of thousand rooms. Thoth is one person. Who else was using the halls of Amenti?
Well, the thing we have to remember is that the Anunnaki came here, who are the true Atlanteans, in my opinion. They're all these Anunnaki gods. They were called themselves Atlanteans at one time in the distant past. And they had the elite of elites that would come here. The original pantheon wasn't from Greece. The original pantheon came through Iraq and then into Egypt much later after the Great Flood with the land of Chem. But I believe that these other rooms were for these other Anunnaki gods, or these advanced beings. Really was what they were. They were masquerading. Some of them masqueraded as gods. Thoth didn't, which is why I liked them. But they came here and they would use these regeneration chambers. They had these different elixirs called the elixir of life that they would drink as well. They found monoatomic gold, at some of these dig sites and some of these archaeological sites around pyramids and some of these hidden rooms where, they would ingest these monoatomic gold elements with other things like colloidal silver, and help to rejuvenate the body, help to speed up the brain functioning and processing, as well as I truly believe that these beings also integrated advanced technology into their bodies, and that the monoatomic gold, ingesting it, actually aided in the functioning of some of these technological devices that they put inside their bodies as well.
Yeah, I got a bunch of pictures here. I'm going to post these. And when you see, I'm going to post this now. We're at a break. When we come back, I'm gonna post a picture of one of the sarcophagus that I was blown away with at the Met in New York. Now look at the size of this. Now remember, this is placed inside of another square rectangular sarcophagus. Look at the size of this. It's mind blowing, and it's beautiful too as well. So I'm going to do that when we come back after this break. Our guest tonight is Billy Carson, and we are discussing the halls of Amenti. It is one of the most fascinating parts of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, and there is the book there. I'm holding it up to the cameras, and we're going to, at the top of the hour, not now, at the top of the hour, we'll open up the phone lines, and we'll take some phone calls and give away some autographed copies of the book. Billy, you stay right there. We're taking our break right now. This is Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church, and we'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Way out here, we listen to Jimmy Church.
You're listening to Fade to Black.
Always on the edge of the hottest alternative talk. Jimmy Church with Fade to Black. KGRARadio.com.
¿Qué tal, mis amigos? Yo soy Mario Carson, el tiburón, y los invito para que escuchen a mi buen amigo Jimmy Church Radio. ¡Claro que sí!
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously. Go Beckley Teppy. Do you want to be an official Fadernaut? Of course you do. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. Just go to our membership section at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Introducing the new Surfer Music app. Listen, Fadernauts, you know I love my music. This is my go-to for all things notes. The Surfer app is a brand new concept in music listening. Surfer is free, providing unlimited access to thousands of live streaming radio stations. Surfer is an exciting, interactive listening experience. Discovery and surprise are built right in. Surfer is your destination to discover and rediscover great live streaming music. It features high-quality audio streams, free access to music from thousands of live streaming radio stations, unlimited listening, unlimited skipping. You get a music visualizer, and you can also select your favorite channels. Get it at the Apple App Store or Google Play. Just search Surfer Music or click on the Surfer banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. Go Beckley Teppy.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
You listen to us, and we listen to you. And so does the CIA. KGRARadio.com.
If you have hard water, the lime scale not only leaves white spots, it clogs pipes and breaks down appliances, costing you hundreds of dollars in energy and wear. Eliminate lime scale and other water issues like brown staining and bad odors with HydroCare water products, available from Wave Home Solutions. Wave's affordable water systems don't use salts or chemicals. You'll love the way your water tastes, smells, and looks. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
You are listening to Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Network.
Oi, oi, I'm Reese Evans. You're listening to Jimmy Church. This is Revolution. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution is on radio. Ciao.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight's week 2, part 2 of our series on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth with Billy Carson. And tonight we're discussing the Halls of Amenti. There's the chapter as it starts in the book. And Billy, the Halls of Amenti take place on Emerald Tablet number 2, correct?
Correct, yes.
And what does Thoth actually say?
Well, it's really cool because I actually have a song that I came up with Donnie Arcade and Cruz called "The Halls of Amenti," where we actually go into we actually use some of the verse actually in the song. It's amazing, but he says, "Not as little men of the present age did, the mighty ones of Atlantis live and die. But rather from eon to eon did they renew their life in the halls of Amenti, where the river of life flows eternally onward." Really sounds very similar to something that Jesus says in the New Testament, and where he's speaking in John 7:38, "He that believes in me, out of his being shall flow rivers of living water." Very, very similar. There's a lot of similarities that I kind of put forth like that between the biblical verses relating back to the Emerald Tablets. And then he says, 100 times 10, I have descended the dark way that led to light. And as many times as if I ascended from the darkness into light, my strength and power have been renewed. Now for a time I descend, and the men of Chem shall know me no more. So he's talking there about actually descending into the halls of Amenti and leaving. So he's going somewhere. So that's why I say this place must be a portal of some sort where he goes in there and it departs and also arrives. So at some point in the distant past, he left his records with the pyramid priests, and then he left from the halls of Amenti. The method that he's using, whether it's a Merkaba, whether it's some type of a ship, he doesn't particularly specify, but he definitely leaves from the halls of Amenti, which is amazing to me. It tells me that he's using some type of technology to leave that area.
I want to read another part of the Emerald Tablets where Thoth is describing the halls of Amenti, and he says, "Down they descended and created bodies, taking the semblance of men as their own. The masters of everything said after their forming, 'We are they who are formed from space dust.'" That's it. That's insane.
I know. I mean, when you look at the age of this writing, and then you go, wait a minute, what in the world are these people, talking about here? What are they trying to say? They're literally talking about going down and creating bodies, and it sounds like fantasy, but again, we now have the capability of doing that. I can literally take one skin cell off of your body now. I can turn that skin cell into a stem cell, bypassing the need for embryonics, using an embryo to create a stem cell.
Right.
So now I've got a stem cell from the person's original body, and then I can take it and put it into a chemical situation where I can create a complete clone of you from that stem cell. This is modern, very, vetted, peer-reviewed science that we can do today as we speak, but yet Thoth is talking something very similar back then. And I think this also what you just read, Jimmy, really leads us to another amazing thing that's talked about in more recent times in Scripture, which is the virgin birth of Jesus or Yeshua, which and also a lot of people know his grandmother, Mary's mother, was also a virgin birth. So we're talking about this reoccurrence of bodies coming from nowhere, human beings or humanoids coming from nothing. And I think it really leads to advanced technology, whether it's cloning, whether it's in vitro fertilization, whatever the methods that they're using. I don't think it's magic. I don't think that it's some type of a sky daddy with a magic wand and poof, and here it is. I think it's advanced technology that's being described here.
He says, I'll just say, we are they who were formed from space dust, partaking of life from the infinite all, living in the world as children of men, like and yet unlike the children of men. Mm-hmm. That's exactly what you're saying.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, and what that really says is we're you, but we're not quite you. We found a way to put ourselves here in these bodies.
The references directly to like stem cell research and DNA and cloning, that's exactly what is written here. And this is something, even if let's go devil's advocate, right? Let's go down the skeptical route, the debunking route. Even if you go down that road, well, these texts, even if you go back 100 years ago, before cloning and DNA and this kind of and stem cell research wasn't even talked about, wasn't even dreamed about, then we have issues here. We have direct issues. But these texts go back so far. Even if you go back to the translations of Newton, we're talking a couple of 100 years or more. This is before any of this stuff was even conceived. By the brightest of minds. Yeah, by the brightest of minds. It's a pretty fascinating passage right there. And I want to get to what DARPA is working on right now, too, as well, because we mentioned this earlier, but DARPA does have an avatar program.
Yes, correct. They have an avatar program. It was written about in Extreme Tech News several years ago, and they literally have a program where they take a soldier who is probably in some kind of underground bunker or inside of a mountain somewhere, and he syncs himself symbiotically to a field robot, and that robot, then his consciousness has been transferred to this field robot, and it can operate, it can maneuver, it can feel, and everything else, but obviously the soldier himself physically can't die, which is why they pursued this technology. And the only thing that was stopping us from transferring consciousness in the past was storage space. But now, with the invention of quantum computers and the fact that we discovered that human DNA can literally store trillions of gigabytes of information or Googles of information. In other words, they discovered that one pinprick on the tip of your finger, 1 gram of DNA can store 700 terabytes of digital bits of data. So now they discovered that the human body can literally contain all the information contained in the entire universe going back 13.5 billion years. That's an amazing storage vessel that we're actually inhabiting right now. So they've now begun to make DNA storage hard drives or storage drives. And they can now sync those with quantum computers. And now they have all the storage capability that they need.
Well, and Thoth talks about it right here. He says, side by side then, placed they other spaces, filled them with life and with light from above, builded they then the halls of Amenti, that they might dwell eternally there, living with life to eternity's end. That's exactly. It's a storage. It's absolutely incredible to me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's amazing, man. Really, I mean, the more I got into this, why I had to write this compendium and break it down and talk about the technology that we have now, because that's really what the book is about. I try to say, okay, this is what we're doing now, and look what he's saying back then. Can you see how this is only a rediscovery, and it's not fantasy, because we're now trying to replicate and duplicate what the ancients have already done. And that's, really why I really wanted to write the book. I wanted to show people that these were advanced beings that may have been more advanced spiritually, but also technologically as well. And they literally inhabited this entire planet, not only this planet, many planets and moons in our solar system and beyond. And they have the capability of, like as I said earlier, they probably had technology embedded into their own bodies, like nanotechnology, which we're now talking about in modern science, and creating nanobots that can go in and alter genes in people, delete cancer, delete viruses inside the body. These are real science things that we're doing today. We now have the capability of 3D printing organs, 3D printing veins and vessels, and even 3D printing, even creating blood plasma from scratch, not bypassing the need for getting blood donations. So what are we talking here? I mean, we're finding ways to replicate, duplicate, and fix the human body, which according to Thoth is just a biological robot. And we're now, looking at the body as more of a biological robot, a meat machine, and finding ways to repair it and fix it. And I think that if anybody, listening to this call right now, listening to this video or this show, is around for another 30 years and is able to get access to some of this technology, they might live to 200, 300 years old, maybe even beyond, depending on the way society goes.
What is the entrance to the halls of Amenti? Is it exposed? Have you tried to go and find it? Where is it?
That's a great question. The closest that I've come to seeing where a way to get down there might be Eric Von Daniken's famous video that he's got on YouTube, where I actually post a picture of him on Forbidden Knowledge of me and him together. We were talking about this was a couple of years ago. I think it was a Contact in the Desert 2018 probably is what it was. Yeah. But there's a video that I put underneath that I kind of split screened it, where he's showing going down ladders underneath the Great Pyramid into these deep tunnels and areas that are built very, very sophisticated that just keep going and going and going. And I think that might be the physical entrance directly from the pyramid access point to get down to the halls of Amenti.
Yeah, you're talking about the tomb of Osiris underneath the Great Sphinx.
Right. I believe that tomb of Osiris is the access point.
Yeah, and I would concur with that for a couple of reasons. One, that goes 100 feet down, 10 stories.
Yeah.
And it is completely sealed off. Nobody has access to it. And remember, that wasn't supposed to exist. Certainly, Edgar Casey talked about it. Others have talked about it. I have many people on the show, including Robert Schock, who's going to be on with us next week, and Jay Widener, too, as well, talked about he went around to the backside of the Sphinx. He said there was nobody there, and he finds a piece of plywood covering, it's lying flat on the ground. He picks it up. It's a friggin' hole at the rear of the Sphinx with a ladder in it going underneath the Sphinx. And then a security guard came up and yelled at him. He put but he's just like, it was an entrance to something, and it's right there, but nobody talks about it. This stuff isn't supposed to exist.
Exactly.
Now,
you bring up a good point real quick about that with the Sphinx, not to interrupt you, but there's ancient depictions of what appears to be some type of UFO in ancient papyrus artwork from Egypt. And I have a replica of one that I got from Wayne Herschel out of South Africa. And it depicts only the gods, in other words, Thoth and the other, elites, would land on the back of the Sphinx in Egypt on the Giza Plateau. They would land on the back and they would come in through, which is clearly visible if you look at some photos, an entranceway on the head, which led to a staircase that would wind down on the inside. And one part of that staircase would go deeper, and another part of the staircase would lead out between the paws.
That's right. I've heard reports of that over and over again. And it goes without saying, Billy, the fact that they won't let anybody up on the crown of the Sphinx to check it out says something. There are plenty of historical pictures that were taken from balloons above the Great Sphinx, and that hole is there. It is visible. Now, today, it's sealed up. This is the other important question that needs to be asked. Let's say, I wanted to get back to Kircher. Did Kircher say that he accessed this from the tomb of Osiris back in 2008? Is that how he accessed the halls of Amenti?
No, he didn't say that he accessed it from there. He just used the description from Herodotus to create a rendering or a drawing based off the exact description that Herodotus left behind in his history book. The other researchers created their own video, which is available on YouTube, showing how they went in from a side hole, or it's like this. It was a couple of stones that they removed, but when they removed them, they were able to get in and get into these really, you could tell they're man-made tunnels. They don't look like caves at all, that lead deep beneath the Great Pyramid and deep beneath Giza. And I believe they also probably lead to the halls of Amenti.
I want to get back to the power source here. There must have been power, something needed to be generated for these regeneration chambers. And the Ark of the Covenant certainly points in that direction. If the halls of Amenti are exposed and revealed to the public, what can we do with it without a power source like the Ark of the Covenant?
I think we can replicate a power source now with the technology we do have. We can create a nuclear source of energy. Obviously, we have those now. I believe that some researchers have now created the first sun on Earth in some type of a generator that they created. I think it was in China. But there's also other ways that we can create, cold fusion has been suppressed. There's so many different ways to create power, enough power to light it up. I'm pretty sure we can figure it out. I'm pretty sure DARPA and some of the other dark agencies have already created different types of energy sources and powers that they can utilize for different purposes. But it would be great to turn it on and see what it was all about and see what it can do. I mean, evidence of electricity or wireless electricity is abundant all over Egypt. When you go there, it's everywhere in the hieroglyphs. They're the jet pillars that look like Tesla coils, and the light bulbs and everything that they're holding up. It's very clear to see. When I was there, even the archaeologist told me, the homegrown archaeologist told me that they used to have a movie theater there in ancient times that had pictures and sound and everything else right there at in Egypt. So, I mean, it's amazing, man.
Brian wanted me to ask you, he says, can you ask Billy which structure has the small square stone 4-pillared pool in front of its entrance?
That must be the Osirian temple next to the Temple of Abydos. That sounds like that.
Oh, that's what he's referring to, and that the pool that floods.
Right.
Yeah, that's
the Osirian.
Yeah, that's another big mystery to me, too, as well.
Oh, man.
Not to get off the halls of Amenti, but they are related to me in my mind's eye, because when you think about the design of that and the halls and how that is laid out, it reminds me of the halls of Amenti. And before people can say, suggest, well, how could they build this? Well, we have that. And allegedly that was built by who? Seti the First, right?
Seti the First, allegedly, yeah. I mean, come on.
Allegedly.
Yeah. Much older. Yeah, because it's much older. When you go there, you can see that there's many levels that go down underneath that area. And there's probably 3 or 4 temple levels underneath what you can see above ground.
And, there's 40, 50, 60, 70 feet of accumulated earth above that can only happen over great lengths of time.
Right. Exactly.
So, but the construction is similar. And that's what I'm referring to here. And to me, that temple represents one of the most extreme constructions in all of Egypt. That is completely unexplainable. You think that the Great Pyramid is impressive? Well, so is that. And the Serapeum in general is just the most extreme of extremes when we talk about the size of granite blocks, the size of and weight of the stones, and the construction, and how they did it, and the impossibility of getting those sarcophagus down those halls and into those chambers.
Yep, exactly. And also behind the temple of the Osirian temple, behind the Osirian temple, there's the temple of Abydos, which, don't forget, I mean, they're right next to each other. And right in the column, about 60 meters up in the ceiling, one of the ceiling beams, there's a hieroglyph of tanks, airplanes, submarines, and the homegrown archaeologist that we use, Muhammad Gamal, he says they try to make us tell the people that, this is an error from re-etching hieroglyphs. Nobody has ever gone up there. He said, nobody has ever gone up there and ever touched these hieroglyphs. This is the way we found them. That's the honest to God's truth. We found them this way. We can't explain it. This is advanced technology in hieroglyphs.
I'm looking at the papyrus now of the UFO on the back of the Sphinx.
Mm-hmm.
And that is a UFO on the back of the Sphinx. That's a flying saucer.
That's right. That's right.
I mean,
I have that one.
What else? How big is it, your papyrus?
Mine is only a small replica, so it's probably only, I would say, 3 feet by 2 feet.
Okay. And how big is the Great Sphinx on the papyrus? Are you saying what I'm looking at here is 2 feet by 3 feet?
Oh, no, I'm talking about my whole papyrus that I have, my replica sheet that I have of the actual papyrus from Egypt.
Well, what I want to know is how big is the Sphinx on that, and how many inches, and how big is that little flying saucer?
Oh, okay. I would have to dig that thing out. It's in a box. When I moved to this new place, I boxed a lot of my artifacts up.
But I'm looking at it here, and I don't want to just sound like I'm the most gullible guy in the world. But I'm looking at this, and I can't explain that. I can't explain it, and especially with the stars in the background, the way that it's depicted here. That is a flying saucer with rays shooting off of the top of it. It's got a dome, and it's got 3 legs extending out from the bottom of it, and it's sitting on the back. So, okay, Billy, what else could that be?
That's a UFO. It lands on the back of the. That's a famous papyrus too. It lands on the back of the Sphinx, and then the gods get out and they go into the back of the Sphinx's head, and either they descend beneath the Sphinx or they come out through the paws, depending on what their mission or what their purpose is at that time. But that's a well-known papyrus, and one of the things that Thoth talks about in the Emerald Tablets, which I cover, is the fact that he says that he's hidden a ship underneath the Sphinx that will be utilized in the future by people. The smartest minds will figure out a way to release his ship to fight a future foe that's going to come here and battle us. But whoever releases his ship from beneath the Sphinx will defeat that foe with ease. I don't think he's talking about a boat.
I watched. Hold on, I'm just posting this. Looks like a flying saucer to me. That's all I can say. That's the only comment that I have on this, so everybody can see what I'm talking about right here with Billy. And thank you, Dan. This came in from Australia. Thank you, Dan, for posting this. But that's pretty incredible. I watched. I can't remember. You just reminded me of a movie that I just saw. I've got to think about this during the break. It might not have even been a movie. It may have been something that was written about an archaeologist that went down into the halls of Amenti and found Thoth's ship, which was very thin. It wasn't thick. It had a dome center, but it was giant. It was like hundreds of feet in circumference. It wasn't small, and it sat in a giant room and was activated. And now that I'm thinking about it, it reminds me of what I'm looking at, what is sitting here on the back of the Sphinx. Wow, that's interesting. Huh.
Yeah, amazing. So somehow he's hidden, and they found these anomalies underneath the Great Sphinx with ground-penetrating radar now. Some a mile deep, they're estimating. But obviously, they've been restricted by the Antiquities Council from going down there or digging or anything else to really find out exactly what it is, because of the suppression. But there's something down there. It's now a scientific fact because our technology says there's something down there. And whether they've gone down there now and taken it out themselves secretly, we don't know. But at the time that the scans were done, they discovered a lot of stuff underneath that Great Sphinx.
Yeah, everybody's debating what this actually is depicting. And Dan, the original poster, says it could depict a doorway at a distance behind the Sphinx, and what you see as legs could be a path leading towards it. As much as I want to believe that it's a UFO. Yes, I understand that, Dan, and I thought about that too as well, except those feet. I don't. It could be. It could be that. And that it's not actually on the Sphinx. It's actually on a wall behind the Sphinx depicting a doorway. Could be. All right, let's take a break right here. When we come back, I am going to open up the phone lines. We're going to give away a couple of copies of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, and it is all of them are signed by Billy. I'll show that to the cameras too as well. And now, to get your copy of the book, there's got to be some rules. You've got to have a very good question for Billy, and I'm going to leave it to Rita. What do you say, Billy? Rita,
that's fine by me. I trust Rita.
Yeah, Rita will determine if your question is legit. This is Fade to Black. I don't want the responsibility, Billy. I don't want it resting on my shoulders. So we'll do that after we come back. And the phone number is 747-228-2051. I'll be right back. More with Billy after this short break. Stay with us.
Hi everybody, this is Rob Halford, the Metal God on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
This is KGRA Digital Broadcasting Station. Salt Lake City, Utah. Van Buren, Arkansas.
Poor water quality is a major health issue, and it's only getting worse. Municipalities can't keep up, standards have dropped, and pollutants are increasing. Where does it all end? It ends by keeping the pollutants outside of your home with HydroCare's advanced systems available at Wave Home Solutions. No less than the best purification materials and processes have been developed by HydroCare to provide you with healthy, clean water for drinking, cooking, and showering. HydroCare far surpasses the competition in removing chlorine, odors, iron, lead, chemicals, limescale, and much more. Don't settle for less when it comes to your water. We'll take care of the toughest water problems for you, whether it's from a city or well source. Satisfaction guaranteed. For more information, call 888-997-WAVE. That's 888-997-WAVE. Or go to bestwater123.com. That's bestwater123.com.
Wave Home Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
Your contact for current news and trending topics. KGRARadio.com.
Does your basement or crawl space have a damp, musty smell? Well, watch out. That's a sign of too much moisture and not enough ventilation. And that can mean increased mold growth and the buildup of harmful toxins and gases. Don't bother with a dehumidifier. It just circulates the same unhealthy air. Now there's a better way to remove these dangers and odors. It's with the computerized Wave Moisture Control Unit that reduces moisture and expels pollutants.
We replaced our old dehumidifier with the Wave unit, and in only 3 weeks, our basement is dry and the musty smell is gone.
Wave units require no maintenance, no buckets of water or filters, and costs only pennies a day to run. Breathe better, live healthier with an affordable, no-maintenance Wave unit. Call 888-717-WAVE, 888-717-WAVE, or visit dryhealthyhome.com. Dryhealthyhome.com.
Ride the wave, Wave Home Solutions. Solutions for a healthy, comfortable home.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I only drink Fade to Black blend coffee from Rivermoon. Just click on the Rivermoon Coffee banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code F2B Blend.
So are you tired of being tired? Well, then it's time to get the tea. Hey, it's Lisa here to tell you about this all-natural, all-organic tea I've been drinking that has had great results for over 20 years. It's called Life Change Tea, and it's specially formulated to help detoxify and cleanse your kidneys, liver, colon, and blood all at once. The colon is one of the most ignored organs in the human body. The faster that waste is eliminated from the body, the less time that waste sits in our intestines, spreading toxins to our bloodstream. This tea helps cleanse chemicals caused by outside intruders from our entire digestive system. And get this, weight loss can be a side effect. And with continued use of the tea, you can experience clearer, healthier, younger looking skin, increased energy, and a happier outlook on life. So if you're tired of being tired, get the Life Change Tea at getthetea.com. That's getthetea.com. And like me, you'll be glad you did.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi available, you can still listen to every minute of Fade to Black by just calling 605-562-4482. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan and no extra cost if you have unlimited minutes. Just call 605-562-4482. You can listen to me, Jimmy Church, on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Go Beckley Tappy.
You want to know a secret? I love ponies. I really love ponies. I'm serious. I couldn't stay sane without ponies to brush.
Why Fade to Black? Because you never got that pony, damn it.
This is Fade to Black with Jimmy Church on the Game Changer Radio Network and KGRA, the Global Radio Alliance.
All right, welcome back. Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight's Billy Carson. Week 2 of our 4-part series on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. And tonight it has been the Halls of Amenti. I'm holding up the book right now to everybody. It's incredible. Not only the writing, but it's the editing and the cover, the artwork, all of the graphics on the inside. It is a great read. And you can go and get yours right now at forbiddenknowledge.com. Of course, we have the links to everything over at jimmychurchradio.com. Billy, it's an incredible book. And are you ready to get to some of these phone calls?
Yes, let's go.
All right, let's just, we'll start at the top. Let me do this. I've got to get my pen ready. Okay, let's see. All right, I'm letting everybody know now. To get a copy, you must ask a question, and the question had better be smart. And then I'll leave it up to Rita. All right, let's go. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? Okay.
Hi, this is Vivian.
Hi, Vivian. How are you?
I am fabulous. How are you, Jimmy?
I'm doing good. Say hi to Billy Carson.
Hi, Billy Carson. You're amazing. I appreciate
Thank you very much.
Phone call.
Absolutely, Vivian. And so you know what's going down. I think you would love to get a copy of the Emerald Tablets autographed by Billy, but you've got to have a really smart question. What do you have?
Well, I didn't know that was part of this, so I've been scanning my brain to pull one out. So I was formerly a student at the Ramtha School of Enlightenment, and I was thrilled when you interviewed Jay-Z Knight a few weeks ago.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yes. So Ramtha talked about a certain species of, I guess you would say probably an alien species, that actually were the handlers of the Ark of the Covenant, because of the fact that apparently they were immune to the radioactivity coming off of the Ark. Does Billy know anything about that, or can he expound on that?
Billy?
Well, that's actually a very good question. The Ark of the Covenant had to be handled by these high priests, people who are supposedly the direct connection between the people and the gods. They were the ones that were usually, from the research, half human and half Anunnaki or half Atlantean or half, or whatever you want to call them, half alien, so to speak. And that could be one of the reasons why they were chosen to be able to handle the Ark. There was more than one Ark. There wasn't just one Ark. There were probably 3 of the Arks, as far as I can count now, at different times. Okay. But that these beings, it's very clear that if the wrong person touched the Ark, they would die instantly. However, these other people who were the in-betweens between the humans and the gods had the capability of handling the Ark. And of course, they had very specific instructions on how to handle it and what they had to wear. But the point that you're making right now is something I had really never considered before, the fact that maybe genetically, being that they were usually, in the bloodline of these Anunnakis or these advanced beings, it could be potentially why they were able to handle the Ark a little bit better than the others. So it's something for me to really look into. You just added a whole nother line of research now that I've got to dig into and go down another rabbit hole because of that question. So I'm really glad you brought it up.
Well, it must have been meant to be, so I appreciate adding that to your long list. I'm sure it's a very long list of what you're going to be checking into.
Absolutely. And thank you, Vivian. Enjoy the rest of your night.
Well, thank you guys for re-inspiring me to get back into doing my own research and to just resurfacing all of this. It's a big rabbit hole. So thank you for bringing that back up in me, too.
Yeah, absolutely, Vivian. That's what this show is for. Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Have a great night. That's a great phone call. And Billy, to put it all into context, when those out there that have been interested in the subject, right? And they've been maybe reading or they've seen stuff. They watch movies and they do things over the years. And they come in, and pop into the show and they listen to you and they hear about the Emerald Tablets and it re-sparks. It's like their own regeneration machine, right? Now that they want to go and they're inspired. And, what brings everybody to this show and to books like yours is something very personal. There's a personal quest that is going on, and that's what I appreciate the most. I can hear the passion in her voice with all of this, and I find that it just she's inspired. I'm inspired with that, and so let's go ahead and I'm going to do this. Man, the calls. These phone lines are off the hook right now, Billy. So just stay with me. People are watching me going. Click, 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 click. And okay, you are now on hold. Let's go here and say the magic words. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Oh, 1 second here. I had to pause.
Okay.
Oh, this is Ricky from Pennsylvania.
Hi, Ricky from Pennsylvania. How are you?
I'm pretty good. How are you guys doing? Hello, Billy.
Hey, what's up? Fantastic.
My question kind of was like a technology-based thing towards this. With like the regeneration chambers and the clones for the bodies, there's a technology, I think it's called MATLAB, where they take the DNA code and turn it over into binary. And they can actually create synthetic viruses and bacterias right now. And so I'm wondering maybe what your opinion on is maybe like a more advanced being able to use something like that for creating a body to transfer their consciousness to.
Oh, that's definite. I mean, what you just brought up is absolutely true, and we're just now rediscovering the same technology that they already had. I truly believe that they were able to store a massive amount of genetic computer information or knowledge and wisdom inside their DNA and access it one thing that we've discovered recently is that DNA is a storage medium. Not only can you do it by hardwiring it to a CPU, but you can also transfer the information from DNA wirelessly. So DNA actually works as a Wi-Fi. It can take incoming streams and outgoing streams as well. It can send outgoing streams as well. This is real science. So once you get into tangling with DNA, if you can mutate DNA, or let's say that you can transmit information on a frequency that can be downloaded by a person's DNA, but on that transmission, you piggyback a virus. That virus then creates a mutation in DNA and then can create all different types of sicknesses, illnesses, malfunctions in another person's body. Which I truly believe that the deep state already has that in use right now. They have those types of technologies right now, even to control people and make them do things that they normally would not have done. Can all be done through the DNA, because the DNA literally can be used as an access point for creating, for controlling a person's mind, for controlling a person's body, and making them act things out, as well as creating certain illnesses and sicknesses inside of a person, and maybe even, unfortunately, killing a person as well. So I do believe that they had that technology in the ancient past, and that we're just rediscovering how to recreate it and use it. And probably these dark projects like DARPA and some of the other ones have probably, I'm more likely, read all these ancient texts and studied them with some of the biggest and most advanced minds in the world to come up with their own ideas and concepts on how to recreate some of this ancient technology.
Ricky, thank you for the phone call, and keep listening to the show, and we'll announce the winners here in just a bit. Thank you so much.
Okay. You're welcome. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Great phone call right there. And let's keep it going, Billy. I've got a lot of calls here, so let's see what we've got. All right. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling? You're live. 3.
Hi.
Yes, you're live. Okay, I can't wait. I cannot wait. If you call in, you got to be ready to go, just like this caller. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, Jamie. It's Tanette.
Hi, Tanette. How are you?
I'm great. I have a good question for Billy. Okay, so Eric Stitt brought up the question of a lot of the paintings and hieroglyphs in the pyramid areas are 2D. Mm-hmm. And there was not much of like a depth of, 3D depth on them, but all of the statues and what have you are oriented to the golden ratio, and the pyramid is oriented to the mathematical geological mass of the earth. So, Billy, I'd like to ask you, do you think that a lot of the megalithic structures were built a long time before a lot of the hieroglyphs were made?
That's a really good question. There are a lot of hieroglyphs that are in 2D, just etched right into some granite. And then, the only ones that I've seen really that were really clear 3-dimensional glyphs or had that raised feature, really raised feature, were underneath the Temple of Dendera when I went to an underground crypt there, where I saw a jet pillar and some what looked like light bulbs and some other really amazing technological type etchings. But other than that, what you're talking about is, you got to remember, the hieroglyphs are really an historical record written over many, many dynasties. So it's very possible that the further back you go to the very beginning, when the first beings, I think they really came from space. Some people want to say that, civilization started here on Earth. I just don't find enough evidence to prove that happened. So at some point, where did we get to the first hieroglyphs? Where did we get to the very, very first writing? Thoth himself claims to be the creator of writing and language and taught that to mankind. So we would have to go back to really, really ancient temples, which are now, unfortunately, deeply buried in the sands of Egypt. I mean, you got to go even underneath the underneath the Osirian. There's about 3 or 4 temples beneath that one. And one of the things that I learned as well when I was there was the fact that the gods had their own glyphs. So the gods themselves, who were these Atlantean Anunnaki people, they had their own glyphs that nobody else could decipher except for them. Underneath that, you had the politicians and the teachers and so forth. They had their own writing, which wasn't exactly glyphs. It was mixed glyphs with some writing. And then underneath that, you had the Arabic, which is more current times. And those people were just the worker bees, and they didn't know how to decipher their own hieroglyphs that they, would see every single day by these gods, and they couldn't decipher the ones by the politicians either. So there were 3 different levels of language going on in the same area, and still to this very day, the people who are in Egypt still don't know most of the glyphs. They're just now starting to teach that in school in Egypt now, just now. They still have to get a lot of the information from other scholars and linguists from other countries, unfortunately for their own history, which is not good, but they're just now starting. So it's very possible what you're saying. But the further back you go, you got to really dig deep into the sands to see if we can get to some of that original writing.
Thank you, Tanette.
Right, but
Tanette.
there seems to be...
Sorry. Yeah, let me jump in. I've got other callers on hold that have questions. But this is the thing. If you win, am I sending the book to Eric or you?
Oh, you're funny.
There you go. Hey, Tanette, have a great night, and thank you for that.
Thank you.
I'll talk to you. Thank you. That's Tanette. Tanette asking a question for a friend. You got to love that, right, Billy? I'm asking for a friend.
Asking for a friend.
I'm asking for a friend. Okay. I'm putting calls on hold. And Billy, looks like we're going to be headed towards some overtime. This is kind of a fun little phone game that we are playing here. And don't worry, everybody. I am answering all of the calls in order. Okay? All right? All the calls are going to be... Oh, man, look at this. Billy, I'm just going to warn you. I've got about 20 calls on hold. So wow. I don't know how we're going to get to everybody tonight, but I'm going to do my best. Okay. All right. Putting you on hold. Oh, look at this. All right. Okay. I'm going to bring in just 2 or 3 more, and that's it. I'm going to do the cutoff here. Okay. All right. Okay. Here we go. Hi. You're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, this is Andy from Long Beach. I've called you before.
Hi, Andy from Long Beach. I've called you before. How are you, man? Everything good?
Yeah, I was trying to turn this off. Yeah, everything's great. So my question to Billy is, so when we look at the back of a $1 bill, we see an illuminated pyramid. And so I'm wondering what's inside the pyramid itself running up to the top, like shafts or pipes. What do we know about the interior of the pyramid running vertically up that might have caused it to be a beacon or illuminate?
That's a good question. The top of the pyramid, if you notice around the world, most of the pyramids, the apexes have been removed. That's not an accident. That was done on purpose. The apexes have been taken away from the pyramids that operate or seem to have had some type of technological purpose. They've been kind of taken off the top and, that way breaking the mechanism that makes them work. And when you go up into the pyramid, I've been up through the Grand Gallery. You can see on the left and right side that there's these slots going up towards the King's Chamber. And those slots, a lot of researchers now think had some type of resonance bars or some type of technology that was inserted into each one of those slots going up that would generate or resonate a frequency or amplify energy going up into the King's Chamber. The source of that energy would have come from deep beneath the Great Pyramid, most likely from the aquifer that was down there, creating something called physiostatic electricity, and then allowing those ions to flow up into another chamber, which then maybe this resonating chamber up in the Grand Gallery would resonate and then amplify them, taking them up or pushing them up into the King's Chamber area, where they would then somehow possibly interact with the Ark of the Covenant or whatever the energy source was in that sarcophagus, and then sending that energy up through the top of the magnetic granite straight up to the apex. Above that granite slab inside of the King's Pyramid, inside of the King's Chamber, inside the Great Pyramid, I don't particularly know exactly the exact structure leading up to the apex on how that resonates straight up there. I just know that granite is so heavily magnetized that when you're inside the king's chamber and you turn your camera on, you start to see these waves come across your screen that you normally wouldn't see when you turn your camcorder on or your cell phone on. These waves are because of all the magnetism interacting with the camera mechanism. So whatever happens above that chamber, I'm not sure in terms of the way it looks architecturally, but it sends that, I believe that it really sends that energy directly to the apex. And at that point, the apex transmits it around the area via the obelisks. I think those obelisks would capture that energy and then, like a wireless, electric pole, transmit it from place to place. So that's what I come up with.
I mean, Tesla's was kind of trying to do something like that, I guess, right?
Yeah, I agree with you, Andy. And thank you for the phone call. Keep listening to the show. We'll announce the winners shortly.
Okay.
Yep.
Awesome. Thank you. Do we have any guesses on what the material was made of at the apex of the pyramid? Any guesses at all of what materials? I'll get off the line.
Okay. Thank you so much for that, Andy. That's been speculated so much over the years, and everything. There are some capstones that are on display in the Cairo Museum, and you can go and see them there. And those are made of granite, as far as I know, right, Billy?
Yeah, those are made of granite. I believe that the ones at the top of the pyramids that had like high technology were most likely crystal, in my opinion.
And there's been reports of gold.
Gold would be another one because gold is an excellent conductor of electricity as well.
Excellent conductor of electricity. And I've also heard that some were even like Merkabahs, and they were actually a design and not necessarily a pyramid-shaped capstone that continued the shape of the pyramid.
Right, like a star tetrahedron at the top, correct.
Yes, I've heard all of that. Let's continue on here. Let's go to the next caller. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Randy. Jimmy, how are you tonight?
Hi, Randy. What's your question for Billy?
For Billy, interesting. I have been thinking about this for a long time, Jimmy, and it harkens me back to using an orange as an example when we went to GMOs with oranges and, corn and what have you, and some of the pushback and actually things that we may have wanted to take a closer look at before genetically modifying those food products. Now, whether that ends up to be a positive or negative for mankind, I guess the jury's still out. I'm not for GMOs. But if you take that to a different context, being the transfer of a consciousness from an original activity space, if you look at this from a scalar theory perspective, is that orange came into this experience with a particular set mission. And that mission was to do what an orange does and then expire at a certain time. Now, the altering that becomes an artificial creation from the original source creation activity space. In human comparison to that, I can't help but think that when you go to attempt to transfer from an original, unique, symbiotic relationship from this consciousness from its original avatar, if you will, us that we experience today, when you separate that original source connection, then in fact you would be by definition no longer 100% human.
Okay, but but Randy, what's your question?
The question is, do you feel that by transferring human consciousness, as you've said tonight, in other smaller beings, little animals, that you would you consider that, the question is, would that be a real human or a rendition thereof, never to be again considered to be human?
That's a great question. Just like Thoth says in the Emerald Tablets, we walk amongst men like men, but yet unlike men. So you're absolutely right in your assumption the fact that you've taken now consciousness and transferred it into another body, you are now making another rendition of that person. You're not totally 100% Homo sapien sapien at that point. You've now transcended to something else. It's just like when you look at the technology that's used to do teleportation. So teleportation, like you see in Star Trek and some of these other sci-fi, where they transfer a person from a spaceship to the ground and from the ground back into the spaceship, or from the planet back to the spaceship. That technology is actually real. We really do have that technology now. Now we're not we're not teleporting human beings yet. Right now we're transporting molecules, atoms, photons, and things like that. I think the biggest distance we've transferred now has been a few miles with a teleportation. So we're doing it now in laboratories in real time. But the thing a reason why I brought it up is because when you teleport an object, whether it's a human or an atom or a photon or whatever it is, the only way to create a successful teleportation is you must destroy the original version. And the version that comes out at the other point is a copy. So, so it's what you're saying is actually very possible that once you transfer your consciousness into another body, it's not truly 100% you anymore. You're not a Homo sapien sapien or whatever you originally were. You're something else.
And Randy, thank you for the phone call. I got to head towards a break right here.
Thanks, great show.
Yeah, thank you, Randy. And keep listening. We will announce the winners of the books later on in the show. I got to head towards a break right here. And again, everybody that's on hold, I will answer all of the calls in order. So if you've been put on hold, don't freak out. I don't cheat. Okay, it's very simple. If you're on hold, I answer everything in order. Let's take a break right here. This is Fade to Black. I am your host, Jimmy Church. If you want a copy, your very own autographed copy of the the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, we're taking your calls right now. 747-228-2051. There it is. It's autographed. Just make your question smart. I'll be right back. More with Billy and your calls after this short break. Stay with us.
Hey, what up, y'all? Sugar Vivica Fox here, and you are listening to my boy, Jimmy Church, on JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Despite popular opinion, reading a book will not make you smarter.
But listening to Jimmy Church will.
Hurricanes, earthquakes, wildfires. This year we've experienced more than our fair share. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black. And last month I decided to make sure my family does not have to worry about food should we get caught in a real emergency situation. Introducing Numana, a healthy, storable product that tastes so good that you'll want to eat it every day instead of just during those times of duress. All Numana products have a 25-year shelf life, are MSG and GMO-free, no preservatives, and are made in America. With the Numana pack in your home, you'll be able to sleep at night knowing that you've protected your family. Not only have I tasted and tested, I own it. Now you can too. Just click on the Numana banner on JimmyChurchRadio.com and use the promo code Jimmy when you order. In addition to a discount, we'll send you an autographed Fade to Black t-shirt. Seriously, go Beckley Tappy. This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and I take Life Change Tea supplements every single day. It's what I do. Click on their banner at JimmyChurchRadio.com. When you take the beans from Central America with dashes of Indonesian and African mixed in and then roast it to the dark side of Fade to Black, you create the ultimate brew of fringe. Introducing the Fade to Black blend from River Moon Coffee. Yes, River Moon's darkest customized roast was created for the love of Fade to Black. The alchemy of masterful roasting and smoking the beans is in every sip of this full-bodied, dark Java. I need my coffee dark, deep, with distinct bittersweet chocolate highlights, just like the bunker. Leaning further into the darkness of the roast is Fade to Black Blend from River Moon Coffee. Just click on the banner at jimmychurchradio.com and use the promo code F2BBLEND for 15% off of your order today. Go Beckley Teppy.
Hi, folks. CBD is the home run hitter for health right now. Why, you ask? Because of what it does for the body. Unfortunately, I can't tell you all about the benefit. You know, there's reasons. Do your due diligence and log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com. Ancient Life Oil uses organic ingredients and is blended in coconut oil for some of the best benefits. Legal in 50 states and non-psychoactive. Log on to ancientlifeoil.com. That's ancientlifeoil.com.
This is Jimmy Church of Fade to Black, and my family is safe because of Numana Emergency Food Storage. Just go to the Numana banner at jimmychurchradio.com. Promo code Jimmy10.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
This is Kristen, Erica, Brittany, Gabby, and you're listening to JimmyChurchRadio.com.
It's not a lifestyle we chose. We were born this way. KGRARadio.com.
This is KJCR at JimmyChurchRadio.com.
Welcome back, Fade to Black. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Tonight is part 2 of our 4-part series on the Emerald Tablets of Thoth with Billy Carson. And right now we're giving away books, okay? And so, to make your chances of getting one of these autographed copies of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets, your question must be smart. It's really that simple, all right? And then we'll let Rita pick. Let's go back to the phones. You ready, Billy? Billy's.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Yep, I'm ready.
Always got that mute button on. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
This is Rachel.
Hi, Rachel. How are
Santa
you?
Fe.
Rachel from Santa Fe, New Mexico.
You got the shoulders healing really well. Thanks for all your positive mojo that you and Rita and the Fader Not sent out.
Yeah, that was, before we spend too much time on that, yes, we sent it all your way.
Thank you. Well, now, knowing Billy, following him as closely as I have, I know that he believes that words have power. Just like prayers, you can invoke just about anything. Does he know of, or has he heard of, like maybe the translator Dorial or somebody, that speaking the words or meditating on the tablets, did cosmic stuff happen? Has he ever heard of people being healed or having out-of-body experiences? I mean, do the tablets have that kind of power, Billy?
I truly believe that they have that type of power, and I have talked to people, a very close friend of mine that actually is involved in heavy meditations on a daily basis, sun gazing on a daily basis, and has utilized some of the teachings of the Emerald Tablets in his astral projections, and some of the vocalizations that Thoth talks about when he's talking about battling the Dark Brothers. Those are actually not names. They look like they're names, but they're actually frequencies that he's talking about. And he's talking about going into a dark space or going into a dark room and speaking these terms, these words. They're not really people, but he's saying, call on Utanus, Quertus, Tractal, Goyana, Huertal, Samveda, and Ardal. And it kind of has a ring to it. It kind of has like a rhythm to it when you start saying it over and over again. You have to say it with your own voice. You have to vocalize it and speak it out. and those frequencies coming out of your throat actually have the ability to alter your reality tunnel and make things kind of work towards your favor. And he claims to have very successful astral projections using these frequencies before he goes using these frequencies before he goes into his astral projection, where he controls the destinations that he wants to go to. I use them in my life when I'm getting to situations that are troubling, despairing, business decisions, business issues. I have all the same problems that everybody else has, relationship issues and everything else. But I utilize it in my life. And since I started utilizing that technique that's described in the book, I really have seen a complete 180-degree turnaround in my life. A lot of the things that I've wanted to do are now all coming to fruition. All the traveling that I've wanted to do is coming to fruition. All the things that I wanted, all the business successes that I've wanted, the relationship that I wanted, everything I've seen. So, I mean, I can't say, that's 100% that. I can tell you I practice it, and it's been working out well for me. So I'm going to continue to do it. Even when I get on the plane coming from these different trips, I use that same technique, just to make sure that I arrive alive. So I can just say personally that I've used it myself, and I feel like the power in it is so great and grand, and I expect that it is done literally at the end of every time I use it, that whatever I'm looking for is done. And I don't think, twice of it ever again. I don't think that maybe I hope this happens, or I hope, maybe this will happen. I just feel like it's going to be done. So I utilize it all the time.
Thank you for that, Rachel, and keep listening to the show. We will announce the two winners of the Emerald Tablets in a little bit. Let's stay on the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hello, this is Keandre.
This is who?
Keandre.
Keandre. Spell that.
Yes. Keandre.
Well, like it should be. Keandre. Okay. Where are you calling from, Keandre?
I'm calling from Huntington, Pennsylvania.
Huntington, Pennsylvania. Okay. What's your question tonight for Billy?
Billy, I was wondering if you had ever heard of the crash in New Mexico in 1948 and how it had Sanskrit on the disc, if you at all know of it.
Oh, yeah, I heard about that, the crash. There was a lot of crashes in New Mexico and Mexico area that people don't know about. They always kind of reference the one, that was made famous by Roswell. But there were many crashes. And there actually have been a couple. I think the Rendlesham Forest incident also had some writing that was kind of reminiscent of Sanskrit from the drawings that I've seen, and glyphs. So this is something that's happened not only once, but twice, and maybe even many more times than that, whenever we get a good description of some of these weird markings on these UFOs. And I really do believe that it kind of leads back to these, when you look at some of these Atlantean type artifacts and the way they're artistically created and made, and some of the writings that have been left behind from ancient times, it kind of gives you that same feel that these might be the same people or somebody who was closely related to these people in some way, shape, or form. So it's really amazing stuff that we have, again, more physical evidence of the existence of these ancient people, still more in modern times, because I think that they're still here, and I think that they're still all around us, and maybe even in some ways, maybe even controlling some parts of our political system and governments as well.
Thank you for the phone call, Keandre. Right. Great question, my man.
All right. I have one more, if Billy wouldn't mind, and if you wouldn't mind.
Well, I've got all these calls on hold for the book, Keandre, but make it real quick. What is it?
Okay, so I had heard about whenever they were doing expeditions when it was World War II, and there were Nazis such as the SS and the Black Sun Society that they had, and that Aleister Crowley had performed a sort of ritual within the King's Chamber. I don't know if that's true or not.
Keandre, I don't know either. And thank you for the phone call. I don't know if did Crowley ever make it to Egypt?
I don't know. I never heard of him making it to Egypt. I've known about him doing seances and so forth, and trying to utilize magic at a distance. But I've never heard of him going to Egypt and getting into King's Chamber.
Yeah, I don't know about that either. I know he went to India. He was a mountain climber, and he did a lot of that stuff. But I'm not familiar. I could be wrong, Keandre. I could be completely wrong. But I've never heard about his visit to the King's Chamber. Let's go back to the phones. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hey, it's Matt. How's it going there, Jimmy?
It's going good, Matt. Where are you calling from, Matt?
I'm calling from Canada.
You're calling from
Frozen White North.
Okay, there you go. The Great White North. All right. What's your question for Billy tonight?
Okay. My question is, have you ever heard of something called the Torah Code? It's something that exists in Hebrew language.
The Torah Code.
Now, sorry, what was that?
Okay, go ahead, Matt. The reason for asking.
Yeah. Now, the reason for me asking is, now I've learned that the Hebrew language has a specific type of mathematical sequence that has kind of like an array in a row, or columns and rows, and that when certain mathematical digits line up, you get certain words and other sequences that operate behind the background. Now, is it possible that the Emerald Tablets that you speak about may also have a code somewhere like that, where other forms of knowledge are behind, the text that's in it?
Wow, great, Matt. Great question, Billy.
Great question. Yep. I have sent the Emerald Tablets over to a set of programmers that have it right now that are working with an AI reading technology to see if they can decipher any background hidden codes left behind by Thoth in the Emerald Tablets. So that's being done right now as we speak, literally.
Matt, you're in the running, man. But you got to listen a little bit later. But that's a great question. That's a fantastic one. You see, that's the thing about Canada. They sneak up on you. Thank you, Matt. Great.
No problem.
Thank you so much. Wow. I've got to. Okay, we're running out of time, and I want to get in as many calls as we can because we got to find a winner here too as well. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, my name is Zeb.
Zeb?
Z-E-B.
Z-E-B. Zeb. Where are you calling from, Zeb?
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Okay, man, a lot of calls from Pennsylvania tonight. Okay, all right.
So
what's your question for Billy, Zeb?
My question is this, basically, what does he think about the Emerald Tablets or the stories that Zecharia Sitchin's talk about is this the original archetypes for humanity? Is this basically all of the religions seem to cascade down from this? And not only that, but people throughout history have had influences by, quote, aliens and whatnot. Is this the original archetype for humanity? And also, what does he make of the zodiac in the sky? Did they set up the zodiac? For a long time, I thought it was just personification, but is there more to it?
Okay, and thank you for that, Zeb. Billy?
Yeah, good questions again. The Emerald Tablets, being at their, if the date really is what we think it is, 36,000 years, to me, I really do believe is a archetype for this current epic of mankind on the planet. I think there's been many other epics. The Emerald Tablets talks about, at the beginning, a great flood starting to recede over the land and mountains starting to come back out of the water, and people who survived were coming out of caves and so forth. And Thoth's mission was to go back and raise advanced civilizations on the planet. So obviously there had been advanced civilizations prior to that flood. So this is the most current epic, which is an archetype now for mankind to help us cycle back to that level again. I think that this the Emerald Tablets is a key piece to that. And the work of Zecharia Sitchin has really been misunderstood on purpose by the mainstream people, obviously. And then they've taken it and turned it into a situation where they kind of try to defame him at the end of his life. But I think that his work stands alone. His work is incredible. And what he did was he took information that he did not translate. So there's a big lie that's been going around for so many years now that he was the only person that could translate the Sumerian tablets, and he lied about them. No, Zechariah Sitchin was famous because he took the he took some of the Emerald tablets. He took the Enuma Elish and the 7 tablets of creation. He took the Epic of Gilgamesh. He took the Archeo-astronomy epic. All these texts that were translated hundreds of years before he was even born, and then he pieced them together and created a story based off of what he read. And he also took some information from the Bible and the Quran and the Mahabharata, and he kind of put together he tried to paint a picture for us to make us understand what happened in the ancient past. So his work to me has been venerated. I think that he was one of the greatest researchers of all time. And he didn't translate all these tablets. He literally painted a picture for us. And was the story 100% accurate? Probably not. Is every story 100% accurate dealing with ancient past? We're all kind of speculating, but I can tell you this, based on all the information that I've now studied, researched, and read, translating the tablets myself with the translating at UCLA, looking at other researchers and other authors now, we all have the same underlying story. Somebody came here in the ancient past and inhabited this planet for the purpose of mining its resources, and at some point began genetically tinkering with the existing hominid on this planet. That's the fundamental story that everybody comes to everywhere. As far as the zodiac goes, the zodiacs were created by the Anunnaki. Not that they were created, obviously they're already in the sky, but the way that you trace them in the sky and what their purposes were for were all done by these ancient beings, and they were basically ruling the planet Earth based off of what zodiac was appearing at a specific time, or what constellation was appearing at a specific time of the year, or over actually many years. So right now we were still in the constellation of, or we're still in the ruling of Amun-Ra, who rules over Pisces. So Pisces is coming to an end, and it's going to change over to Aquarius.
Yep.
Right, in 2025. So that's really where all this stuff goes. It goes over who's ruling the planet. And to really get a good idea of how that works, there's a movie called Jupiter Ascending, which gives you a very good idea of the levels that you can have when you're running a galactic civilization. And I think that movie is really like a documentary, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it's
when
pretty
you see
good.
the levels of people.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And Zeb, thank you for the phone call and two great questions. Thank you so much. And keep listening. We're going to announce the winners here shortly.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you. And don't forget, there's one other interesting part. I've got time for one more phone call. Is that, we have the Zodiac in Dendera and throughout Egypt. But it's, what blows my mind? It's the Zodiac at Göbekli Tepe. Yes. 7,000 years prior to, right? And that just blows my mind. I've spent so much time talking about it. Let's get back to the phones. One last phone call and question. Hi, you're live on Fade to Black. Who's calling?
Hi, this is Brian from Bud Lake, New Jersey. You guys have a great show tonight. I'm very impressed.
Yeah, thank you so much, Brian. And what's your question?
I'm very curious. Bill, you know so much. Are you familiar with the Giza Intelligence Group?
I'm not.
The Giza Intelligence Group? Never heard of that.
No.
It was similar to what the other gentleman was referring to about the occult and stuff. It was a Nazi organization. They somehow got access to the Giza, the secrets in Giza, and I'm wondering, do you think that they had access to it, and ever since that, maybe they sealed it or something?
Well, I know that there's something very special going on. Everybody knows that now. And NASA has taken control of the access to the Great Pyramid to get to the King's Chamber. And I learned that in 2014 when the archaeologists told me that soon they may not let people into the Grand Gallery up into the King's Chamber anymore because of some agreement they've made with NASA. So that's got to tell you that at some high level, there's something really going on. And NASA, who was the head of NASA, or who, ran NASA when it first formed? You have the Germans. So the Project Paperclip, we brought the scientists over here and, von Braun and everybody else, and we put them in charge of our space program and other areas of government. So if you look back and say, well, that's where it kind of started, kind of almost like a Fifth Reich. And now we have them taking control of the access to the Great Pyramid. Another thing I saw riding out to Dendera, way out in the middle of nowhere, in the middle of the desert, looking over to my far right, I'm talking about in the middle of nowhere, there's a gigantic warehouse, and this warehouse had to be about 300 yards long and had a giant NASA logo on it in the middle of nowhere. And I said to the driver, I said, "Hey, what is that warehouse back there?"
Right.
What are they doing? And he goes, "Oh, they make aluminum for us." And I'm going, they're making tinfoil hats is what they're making, I guess.
Yeah, I talked to Robert.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah, Billy. And Brian, thank you for the phone call and thank you for the question. And we're going to announce the winners here in just a bit. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jimmy.
Yeah, have a great night, Brian. And I talked to Robert Schock about it, and he hadn't seen it yet. And I said, dude, just get on the road, head down to Saqqara, right? Head down to Dendera and look off to the right, and out there is a NASA warehouse. And he freaked. So I'm going to bring it up. I think he just got back from Egypt, and we're going to have him on the show next week. I'm going to ask him about that NASA warehouse one more time. Totally nice. Cool. All right. So I'm deferring to Rita. Okay, this is what we have here. Okay. So we've got Vivian with her question about the voltage of the arc. That was a great question. Mm-hmm. Then we have Ricky from Pennsylvania and his question about DNA and viruses. Again, an excellent question. Then we have Tanette with her question about the golden ratio, 2D and 3D, that she was asking for a friend, Eric Stitt. And then we have Andy from Long Beach, his question about the pyramid capstone. We have Ramblin' Randy, and his question is, the second version of a clone the same as the first? And then we have Rachel from New Mexico, the power of words and the power of the tablets and those words on them. Then we have Canandre from Pennsylvania, and that was the 1948 crash in New Mexico and Sanskrit reportedly being seen on the craft. Matt from Canada, is there a Torah code in the tablets? That was a great question, too. And Zeb from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, are the tablets an archetype for humanity? And, of course, the Zodiac question. And then the last question of the night was Brian in New Jersey, the Giza Intel Group. I want to know more about the Giza Intel Group. Okay, so winner number one is Rachel from Santa Fe, New Mexico. And Rita says, for pointing out the morphology, any language itself is a code. Words have power for real. All right, so there, Rachel, congratulations. And you know what to do, Rachel. Write Rita and send us your address, and we'll get you out a copy of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. Okay, Rita, who is winner of book number 2? Book number 2. Okay, did it pop up? Okay. I Rita, we need number 2. All right. This is exciting. It's pretty cool, isn't it, Billy, to have so many people interested in the Emerald Tablets and that many calls. And look, the phone calls are still coming in, by the way.
Wow.
But I've got 30 seconds, Rita, left in the show. I need the winner of book number 2. And if I don't get it from Rita, I'm going to pick my winner right now. Okay, 3, 2, 1. Rachel just said, "Yay, me, thank you." All right, Rita, I can't wait anymore. I'm going to go. Oh, she's going Zeb. Okay. Zeb is winner number 2 from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and the archetype for humanity. You know what? That is so Rita. That is so Rita. I could have picked that. All right, you know what? Let's go with a runner-up. I want to pick a winner. And Billy, if you were going to pick a winner, I'm going to go with Matt from Canada. with the Torah code. If you were going to pick a winner, who would you have picked?
I'd go with Matt for the Torah code. That was something that a lot of people don't even know exists.
Yes, I agree with you. So there you go. Matt, congratulations to as well. So Zeb, email Rita right now. I have Zeb's information in front of me. Zeb, write Rita and send us your address. And Matt from Canada, the Great White North, with his question about the Torah codes and the tablets. And Matt, write Rita and send us your address, and we will get you your own autographed copy of the Compendium of the Emerald Tablets. And you know what makes this book so special, Billy?
You did the forward, didn't you?
I did the forward right there.
That's right.
You know,
thank you so much for that, too.
You know, I read the forward tonight at the beginning of the show, and what I found very interesting is, for me, reading it today, reading the forward in the book, I read it in my own voice, right? Yeah. And it's because I wrote it, right? And I just thought, I wrote it from the heart, and I really was inspired by the book. And that's what I wanted the forward to be. And you didn't change one word of it, or neither did Laura. No. And hopefully Laura didn't find a typo. But and it was an honor, and I want to thank you for allowing me to write the forward to the book. It is a great read. Everybody can go and get their own copies. Now, at forbiddenknowledge.com. Billy, what if somebody wants an autographed copy? How do they go about that?
The autographed copies are available by going to forbiddenknowledge.com. So that's where to get the autographed copy. If you don't want an autographed copy, which is rare, but if you don't, then you can go to amazon.com and get a copy. But the ones from Forbidden Knowledge with the number 4 BIDDEN, forbiddenknowledge.com, those are the ones that I autograph. That's why the shipping is just a little bit more, because I got to pay $5 and change to get it to me, and I got to pay another $5 and change to ship it to you, because I got to get it, I got to autograph it, then repackage it and ship it to you. So you got to pay an extra $5.98 or whatever comes in shipping, but it's not bad to get an autographed copy.
Thank you so much, Billy. Be safe and be out there. Be safe out there. And we'll see you next week. And next week we are covering what?
Is it Time is an Illusion?
Yeah, I think that's what we're doing. We're doing time travel next week.
Yes.
Time
absolutely.
is an illusion, and we will see you right here. I'm so glad you made it back here to the United States, safe and sound, and we'll continue with part 3 next Monday night right here on Fade to Black. Thank you so much, Billy.
Thank you.
Billy Carson. And I just want to let everybody know, Billy flew from Europe today, landed, and I reached out to him today, and I woke him up, and I knew it. I knew that I just thought, how is it possible that Billy can do what he does? And I knew that he was going to come in and knock it out of the park tonight. It was such a great conversation. But there you go. He's out there working for us, and I can't wait to read his article on Santorini and what is going on out there in the middle of the Mediterranean, right off the coast of Greece. And there you go. So next week, it is part 3 of the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. Tomorrow night, it is Dr. Heather Lynn, and we will be discussing her new book. It is called Evil Archaeology. I have it right here. I have been reading it. Demons, Possessions, and Sinister Relics. Dr. Heather Lynn, Ph.D., is our guest tomorrow night right here on Fade to Black. And with that, I am going to get out of here. I do need to remind everybody, of course, Thursday night is another Fader night with open lines all night long. I want to congratulate Rachel, Matt, and Zeb for getting your copies of the Compendium to the Emerald Tablets of Thoth. This is Jimmy Church. Thank you, Billy. You can follow me on Twitter at JChurchRadio, and you can follow Billy Carson at 4, that's the number 4, Bidden Knowledge on Twitter. This is Fade to Black, and our executive producer is Rita Camarion. Show is produced by Hill J. Palm, Renee, Dennis, and Bob. Announcers are Steve Harder, Gene Vitoa, Mark D. Kovar. Webmaster is Drew the Geek. Music, Doug Aldrich. Intro, Spaceboy. SpaceboyMusic.com. Fade to Black is produced by KJCR for the Game Changer Network, and syndication is KGRA, The Planet. This broadcast owned and copyrighted 2019 by Fade to Black and the Game Changer Network. It cannot be rebroadcast, downloaded, copied, or used anywhere in the known universe without written permission from Fade to Black or the Game Changer Network. I'm your host, Jimmy Church. Until tomorrow night with Dr. Heather Lynn right here, I want everybody to be safe. Go Beckley Tappy.